Good morning, everyone. Okay, April, good morning. Okay, April, good morning.
Hello po, good morning.
Good morning po. Salamat po ng marami. Ma'am, we have to start at exactly 8:30 po. Ano po?
Sige po. Sir, nandito na po ba ang ating speakers?
I do not know. Kasi po ay wala pa ako nakikita. I do not know. But
Sir, ano po? Ano to? Ay, Sir Jem. Hindi na po siguro muna tayo mag-a-accept ng sa Zoom. Live po tayo via YouTube. So, hindi po ma-accommodate ng ating Nagka-problema po ang aming Facebook page. Ina-appeal pa po namin. Hindi ko po kasi alam kung bakit kami na-unpublish. Ay, hindi ko po alam kung anong community standards ang na-violate namin. Kaya po, YouTube po muna tayo. YouTube po tayo live. Via ang name po is Taga-MinSU kami.
so, na-announce niyo kanina yan? Ano po?
Sir?
Na-announce niyo kanina pa?
Apo, sir, nasa naka-announce naman po siya kapag join sila. Nasa waiting room po.
Okay. Pero may nag-join na ba? May nakita kayo na nag-join?
Opo, sir, may mga nanonood naman na po sa YouTube natin.
Okay po. All right.
Okay, Brielle, good morning. Good morning din.
Good morning, Sir Ike.
Mic test muna.
Right. In 10 minutes, Sir Ike, we can start, right? In 10 minutes, we can start.
Din, Ma'am April.
Hello, sir.
Pusuyo naman ang isa kong account.
Sige, sir, tayo, puno na kasi tayo. Sige, sir, anong name?
Yung, wait lang, check ko. Parang Enrique din ito. Ilalagin ko lang sa isang phone para may monitor ako.
Oo nga, sir, sige. Sir Jem, Ma'am Glenda, wag na muna tayong tumanggap ng puno na ang ating puno na ang ating
Sige po, ma'am.
Zoom. Para baka po baka papasok din yung ating speaker ay
Correct.
Hindi po sila makapasok.
And also our very own BPAA, Dr. Nemi.
Okay, sabi na lang po sa ating sa ating mga bata na po tayo sa YouTube po tayo YouTube po tayo.
Hello,
live.
Meron
Yes,
pong
sir.
napasok na tagbakin ES.
Sige sir, wait lang po tayo. Sir, nasa na po? Sir, ikaw na lang ang mag-accept. Nasaan po ba? Kasi tayo magbabawas ng ng laman ng ating. Sir,
Hindi
ay
ako makapasok. Pero malinaw ba ang mic ko?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sige.
Loud and clear po.
Ito na lang, wag na lang yung isa kong account. Thank you.
Good morning. Doc April, ano po yung announcement nila? Hindi ko lang po na-get na medyo...
Ano po? Ma'am, sa ano na lang po tayo? YouTube live po kasi tayo. YouTube na lang po ang i-send ko na lang po yung link.
YouTube live. Hindi, limited lang po dito ang makakapag-access po.
Opo, ma'am. I-paste ko na lang po dun sa page ng alam ko naman po yung sa Calapan City.
Thank you po.
Sir Mario? Sir Mario? Are there students of BTB TED na narito na rin? Anyone from BTB TED? Are there students from BTB TED na nakapasok na rin po? Or sa YouTube?
Pinaste ko na po ang link dun sa ng Calapan City.
Okay po.
Yung pong link natin sa YouTube. So, meron na po, mga 67 na po ang nanonood as of now.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Sir, i-confirm lang po natin yung ating mga speakers. Baka po
Pinadala ko na po kay Dr. Christian, kay Sir Christian kahapon pa, yung link natin. And then, inulit ko na naman kasi unang-una nga ay medyo may problema kaninang umaga. At naghahanap sila ng link. So, nag-send na naman uli ako sa kanilang lahat. Pero yung link na ibinigay mo sa akin 2 days ago, ang ginamit kong link na ibinigay kay Sir Christian. Sir Christian. Sir Christian
siguro po,
ay...
sir, hintayin po natin maaga pa naman. Kahit po malate, malate po, yung 5 minutes from
Tama kayo, madam.
At dahil, sir, siguro pinapot nasa pa po sa YouTube.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Join pa po via YouTube ang ating
mga bata.
Students. Opo. Siguro po yung mga few minutes pa siguro.
Enhanced Basic Education Act.
Sir Romy, pasabi lang po sa amin kung anong name ng speaker kasi po hindi po muna kami mag-a-accept ng ng mga bata. Sir Rike, nakapasok sa mga account?
Ano lang po ang gagamitin ko?
Sige sir.
Malinaw naman po yata.
Sir Magalay, excuse me
Yes
po.
po.
Sir, paki-announce nga kay Ma'am April kung sino yung ating mga speakers this morning.
Our first speaker po ay Dr. Maria Cristeta Andaya. Cristeta Andaya.
Sige po, tingnan natin kung
Tapos, ang next speaker po ay Dr. Eva Valenton and Dr. Elsa Lim at 11.
Sir, ay gagawin na rin kitang co-host ha. Baka kasi para pag halimbawa nakita mo din, paki-admit na rin sakaling hindi na.
Ma'am April?
Sir.
Kayo po ay closing remarks. Ang MC po natin
sir.
ay si Sir Magalay po.
Sige po.
Okay po. At tulungan na rin po niyo ang Sir Magalay. Alalayan na rin po niyo. Ano po?
Ako. Sir, ay
Okay.
ako na magpe-present ng mga video mamaya sa yung mga preliminaries.
Okay. Start lang ang akin.
Yeah.
Sure. Si BPAA po ba yung nandito na?
Ma'am April, nakikita na po niyo si BPAA.
Parang wala.
Nag-send na po ako ng link sa kanya ngayon. Nag-send na po ako. Dalawa pa po yung sa hapon. Sa hapon po ay at 1 o'clock ay meron pong magde-demo. Introduce siya ng ating MC, si Sir Magalay. At saka yung ating final speaker naman po ay taga DepEd Oriental Mindoro po yun, Sir Ike, taga DepEd Oriental Mindoro po.
Sino nga po magde-demo din?
Naandyan sa yung program na binigay ko, nalimutan ko na lang ang pangalan.
1A TVL track, ito pong Crystal Gay Olerio, a teacher
Yes.
from OMNHS.
Yes, Dr. Magalay, tama po kayo.
Okay.
Yan po.
Then, the other one would be doing a lecture again on classroom assessment, Dr. Dindo.
Opo.
Okay po.
Oriental Mindoro.
Dean, I guess may CPM na lang po ako.
Sige po, sige po. Hello. Good morning.
Sir, hindi doon makapasok po yung kwan.
Sir Christian.
Apo.
Hindi po makapasok. Binanggit ko na po yung mga pangalan ng ating speakers. Ay po.
Pangalan, hinahanap po namin.
Sir, nakalagay po kasi doon ay the meeting is at capacity.
Opo. Ma'am April, please.
Ano pong pangalan ng ano?
Ano po ang pangalan, Sir Christian?
Hinahanap po namin.
Hindi makapasok. Kasi binigay ko na po yung mga pangalan eh. Binigay ko na po.
Ikaw po, sino talaga? Hindi lang po
Opo, sir. Sir, nasend ko na sa inyo yung list po. Nasend ko na sa inyo sa Gmail po ninyo.
Bagong link po, bago.
Hindi po. Ito po yung ating dating link po. Dati po ito.
Ako, yun po yung ginamit din po ang sinend ko sa mga speaker. Meron pong isang speaker na hindi makapasok kasi capacity na ito na daw po.
Opo. Ano pong pangalan? Para po...
Tama po yan.
Ano pong pangalan, sir?
Sagot lang po. Tatawagan ko lang po kung anong pangalan kung hindi makapasok. Hello, Sir Mar. Ikaw ang sinong hindi makapasok? Ikaw? Ako. Ay, Sir, Marino Cueto po.
Ano pong pangalan, sir?
Marino Cueto. Ano pangalan mo, sir, sa iyong sa iyong...
Sa Zoom po, anong pangalan?
Marino, Cueto, at Ito po hindi makapasok.
Para pong wala pong
Para pong
nakalagay
wala
na-
po ako nakalagay dito sa speaker na Marino Cueto po.
Ako kasi po siya ay siya po ang supervisor doon. Magdidemo. Kailangan din po niyo makita kasi.
Sa hapon po yan. Sa 1 o'clock po yan.
Kahapon pa.
Opo.
Sa 1 o'clock po.
1 o'clock. So, introduce po namin. Ma'am April, Sir Marino Cueto, Supervisor, Education Supervisor po ito. Ma'am April.
Sir, wala po akong nakikita dito sa ano.
Sir Ronnie.
Po.
Yung ba po ay upon schedule pa po kasi pag mo siya, yung susupervise niyo yung
Opo.
so saan po sila makapasok?
Sige po, opo. Sinabi ko na po yung pangalan.
Marino po ito po at saka po si
Gay. Yung pong Gay. Opo. Nakalagay na po yun sa program. Ang di lang po nakalagay ay di nga i-add po namin si Sir Marino Cueto. Education Supervisor. Ano po?
Apo. Ay, saan ako ba po ito pwede kong join din?
Opo naman. Ma'am April, paki-assist po ang Sir Christian. Sir
Ano
Christian.
pong pangalan dito?
Christian Alberto po. Ito po ay head specialist. Senior head specialist po. Ito ng DepEd Calapan City.
Apo. Si Sir Marino po ay supervisor po. Ano?
Opo.
Supervisor po.
Ano pong pangalan sa ano?
Okay po. So,
Pakipultan po yung ano na lang niya, yung Zoom name. Ano pong pangalan?
Tama po yun.
okay po. Salamat po, sir.
Okay po. Don't worry po. At salamat po ng napakarami po. Ma'am April. Okay po. Ma'am April.
Yes po.
I-add po si Sir Christian Alberto, head specialist po ito. Hindi po naman siya speaker, join lang po siya. Hindi daw po siya makapasok. Sir Christian Alberto, head specialist po
Sir
ito.
Jem, tulungan mo nga ako maghanap na. Wala pa nakalagay dito sa waiting room eh.
Hindi, ang akin ay bigyan nyo siya ng space. Magbawas tayo sa ating, kukunti naman na nakalagay sa ating Zoom, 74 lang. Magjo-join pa siya. Ma'am April?
Sir, madami pong nakapasok. 99 po ang participants currently.
Magbawas po muna tayo. Makiusap po muna tayo. So, papapasukin po natin ay ang Sir Christian Alberto, Head Specialist po ng DepEd Oriental Mindoro. DepEd Calapan City pala. DepEd Calapan City po. Tapos mamayang hapon na po natin ipapasok. Sir Magalay, paging Sir Magalay.
Yes po.
Okay na po yun. Ako na lang po yung tawagin niyo. Ano po?
Okay po.
And
At si
then,
BPAA po, hindi na po magme-message.
hindi po. Hindi po. Kasama po siya. Yung tinext niyo sa akin ang sinasabi ko.
Okay. Noted po. Thanks.
Opo. And then sa afternoon po, pakilagay po, paki-introduce din po ang Sir, ano ang pangalan nun? Binanggit na. Cueto?
Alberto.
Hindi. Alberto is Christian Alberto. Ano ba yung binanggit ko kanina? Cueto ang apelyido. Siya ay Education Supervisor. Sige po, tanong na lang natin maya-maya. Ano po?
Marino po yun,
Hello.
Doc.
Marino. Thank you, Ma'am Dandan.
Marino po.
So first name po?
Dr. Marino Cueto. Dr. Marino Cueto. DepEd Supervisor, Calapan City po. Yung po ay sa 1 o'clock kasi siya daw po ang mag-guide sa ating demo teacher na si Ma'am Olero.
Sir, nagjo-join na po
Specialist
kaya?
or DepEd supervisor?
Opo, DepEd Supervisor, Calapan City po yun. Dr. Marino Cueto. All right, so maybe we can start now. Sir Magalay, Ma'am
Sir,
April.
sir, nandito na ba yung speaker natin? Hirap naman po mag-start na.
Hindi po.
Wala yata sila.
Bahala na po si Sir Magalay na tawagin. Kung wala yung unang speaker, we will go to the second. Kasi
Nandito na po kaya, baka wala pa.
what Sir Christian is saying is isa lang po yung hindi makapasok. So ibig sabihin, most of the resource speakers are here already. Ano po? So we can
Nandito na
start
po
now.
kaya, pwede po nating matanong. Kasi po baka maghangla.
Sir Magalay,
Oh,
let us start.
sige po, sige po. Compose lang po ako. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to our dear President, Dr. Levy B. Arago Jr., and to all the key officials of the Mindoro State Universities, to our dear participants, to the Dean of the College of Teacher Education and other program coordinators. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mindoro State University College of Teacher Education welcomes you all to this webinar on the K-12 Basic Education Program. To begin with, let us have a moment of silence and let us acknowledge the presence of the Lord Almighty in our midst through an invocation.
Good morning, Lord. Thank you for a new day. Thank you that your compassion is renewed every morning. Great is your faithfulness and your steadfast love, O Lord. I don't know what all is going to happen today and how much I'll get done, but you do. So I give this day to you. Fill me with your Holy Spirit, Father. Energize me for your work, because you know how tired these bones are. Awaken me to the wonder of your salvation, and quicken my spirit to the reality of your work in my life. Lord, my mind is filled with creative ideas, but they're all jumbled. Holy Spirit, come and hover over my mind like you hovered over the waters at creation. Speak order out of the chaos. Help me to cease striving and to trust that you will give me all I need today to do the work you've given me to do. You will be faithful to complete the good work you've started. And as I step out into my day, I declare your sovereignty over every area of my life. I entrust myself to you and ask that you use me however you see fit. This day is yours. My body is yours. My mind is yours. Everything I am is yours. May you be pleased with me today. Amen.
And with great pride and honor, let us all together sing the Philippine National Anthem.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marugdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Tayong magiging sa silang lahat, anak ng puso sa lipoy buhay. Lupang hinirang, ulit ka ng magiging sa manlulong. Ikaw masisigil sa lahat ng tugok sa singin at sa langit mong babang. Ito na ang tula at kabisa ang mayroong minamahal. Sa lang tawag ulit na lupay na naglilingin. Ang ituloy na araw ng kanyang pamalimagin. Ang araw ng malhati at sila, buhay natin sa piling mo. Ang higaya na ay makakapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
At this juncture, let us express our loyalty to our dear university by singing the Mindoro State University hymn.
Raise your voice throughout the land. We have MinSU forever. Bring the truth and wisdom forth. Our unyielding spirit soars. The humble few to till the land. Wishing all the world could share. It's our goal to shape and teach every wailing heart to reach. We have planted all the seeds and the yield are all our dreams. Reaching with our might even through the night. We have MinSU in our hearts. Let us sing a blessed name, making MinSU our true home. Throughout the world, our feet will tread, but our hearts would stay instead. We have planted all the seeds, and the yield are all our dreams. Reaching with our might, even through the night. We have MinSU in our heart. We have planted all the seeds, and the yield are all our dreams. Reaching with our might, even through the night. We have MinSU in our heart. Reaching with our might, even through the night. We have MinSU in our heart.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, to our dear participants, our guest speakers, our online viewers, welcome to the webinar on the K-12 Basic Education Program. And to welcome us all in this very important initiative, let us have the very untiring and the very competitive and loving Dean of the College of Teacher Education, none other than Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, for the opening remarks.
Thank you, Sir Ike Bagalay, of professor at MDC for MinSU Bungabong Campus. I would like to thank our university president, Dr. Levy B. Arago, for giving us the chance to have this webinar on K-12 in preparation for our fourth year BSEd, BEd students. Also to our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Demesio H. Davalos, for approving and guiding us, supporting us all the way in order to have this event a reality. I would like also to thank our resource speakers this morning with the great assistance of Sir Christian Alberto, the Senior Head Specialist of DepEd Calapan City, the two division superintendents, Dr. Laida Lagar Mascareñas, to Ma'am Susana Bautista. These two superintendents are also very supportive to us for this kind of internship program of our students. To our program chairs who work so hard in order to fulfill our dream that we can around the province of Oriental Mindoro. To our ST supervisors also, who are working hard, doing their best, sharing their ideas, committing everything in order to make this internship very smooth and very fulfilling. To our faculty members also of CTE, who are supporting our program chairs and student supervisors. And lastly, to our students, the ST, student teachers, the pre-service teachers, and their parents for also following all the directions in doing this internship program. To our, mostly also to our medical supporters, medical group, medical departments, headed by our doctors of MinSU, of the 3 campuses, and the nurses, our guidance officers, who are helping us also for different tests before they can be deployed in Oriental Mindoro. I am very thankful and very grateful to God for allowing us to have this webinar and to give us great support in all our endeavors. With the help of our Sir Christian Alberto, we come across this webinar workshop, giving us our very good, excellent resource speakers who are supervisors, despite their hectic schedule. Very hectic, really, because according to Madam Susana Bautista, they have visitors from regional office, and they have to fulfill all the things that are needed for this visit. So they are very busy. And also for Calapan City also, they are also so busy. That is why we are very thankful, very grateful. We appreciate the gestures of Sir Christian Alberto and the 2 superintendents in giving us a chance to support us, help us in this particular fit. So let us go back to this very good event, which is all about the K-12. A little history of the past, that during the Spanish period in the 1600s, there are only 2 systems of education. We have the formal and the non-formal education. The formal education has 6 plus 4 plus 4. When I say 6 plus 4 plus 4, 6 for the primary education, 4 for the basic secondary, and 4 for the tertiary. Before, they focus only on four disciplines. That is reading, writing, arithmetic, and religion. Unlike today, that there are different subjects and different disciplines where our students can do. So during the time, our forefathers, our ancestors, even our grandparents today are great when it comes to mathematics, when it comes to English, when it comes to religion, when it comes to reading. Even during the early Thomasites, when the Americans subdued the forces of our Philippine army and our Philippine soldiers. And that is why most of the discipline is focused on English. I was surprised when one of our kasambahay before used to speak English well. And I was surprised, really. She is a woman, I think she is 65 years old. And she used to take our laundry. And whenever talking to me, she used to speak English. That was before. That is why we are going to focus again to develop the proficiency in the language skills of our students, most especially the pre-service teachers. Because we are not talking about the localization. We are talking about globalization. We are talking about internationalization. That is during the Spanish period in the 16th century, where there are only two systems of education. Now that we have the K-12 program, K, because this is referring to kindergarten and 12 primary schooling. So it is 13 actually, because we have 12 plus 1 for the kindergarten. So this is 13. This has been the move of the late President Aquino, Noynoy Aquino. This is a Republic Act 10533. This is called Republic Act, adopting the formation of K-12, which is an educational act, educational act of 2013. That is the academic year 2012-2013. And when it became a law, it is called now the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. And do you know that during the time, there are only 3 countries who are not yet implementing this K-12, the Buhuti, Angola, and the Philippines. In Asia, we are the only country without K-12. When I left the Philippines, they cannot provide you the tertiary education, especially the foundation program, if you did not finish the K-12. That is the whole Middle East, the whole Europe, the whole Western world. But I was surprised why the country, the Philippines, is not yet implementing this K-12 program. That is why in the year 2012-2013, we implemented it. As I mentioned, it came from the Republic Act 10533. We are very lucky to have this because we try to improve all the macro skills of our students, not only in speaking, but also in reading, listening, writing, and in terms of innovation or creativity. This is very important for our students who wanted to become ready when it comes to the tertiary level. And we develop our students to become independent. They can apply for job after the 13 years of primary education. After the 13, you can apply for a job. They're independent enough because we are supporting our students in different techno book or techno skills. And at the same time, their vocational skills, their talents in some other fields, especially in the BT-BTED, BT-led. And this is very important before they can land on the tertiary level. At the same time, my dearest listeners and watchers this morning for this morning affair, we have a lot of welders who finish only this primary education, who left the Philippines and work abroad. They're looking for experts, unique welders, even they are not yet in the tertiary level. And also for the foundation level, in some other countries, they are having a foundation level before landing on the major fields. That is why this K-12 program is timely, very important, very necessary, indispensable enough for our students to develop their macro skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, without having further ado, I would like again to welcome you on this very important endeavor, this K-12 program, basic education program. And I would like to encourage our listeners, especially our pre-service teachers, to listen intently, jot down notes, because we are going to have a two-page narrative story on what happened this morning to be submitted as part of your portfolio. I would like also to request our program chairs and our ST supervisors to guide our pre-service teachers. We are so much indebted to you, my dearest resource speakers this morning. Without you, we cannot totally guide our students. Thank you very much. Welcome to the webinar, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much to our dear Dean of the College of Teacher Education, our competent and loving Dean of the College of Teacher Education, Dr. Romeo C. Castillo. And I'm very sorry I wasn't able to recognize so early our dear faculty members of the College of Teacher Education of the Mindoro State University. Good morning po, and welcome to our webinar. So our Dean is very right with his message. Okay, that we are already in the new normal. We are beginning our new normal, and we have to equip ourselves with this current trends or current best practices for us to serve our learners and our country well, and educating the Filipino people and making this Philippines or the world a better place to live in. So to our dear pre-service teachers, you just have you have to listen, not only for you to have something in your narrative, but as well as to equip yourselves with the knowledge and the skills and all the things that you will be needing sooner or later when you would be one of us or one of our educators. And not only that, okay, knowing that we have competent and knowledgeable speakers from the Department of Education. So you would be learning so much from them today. So you really have to listen, you have to take note, and you have to secure a very good internet connection so you could have everything from our speakers. Okay, at this juncture, let us hear an inspirational message from our competent Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Nemesio H. Davalos.
Thank you very much, Sir Ike. To the ever energetic Dean of the College of Teachers Education, referred to as the untiring one. To the chairpersons, the faculty members, pre-student teachers, most especially to the seasoned speakers in today's event. We have Dr. Maria Andaya, Dr. Eva Valenton, Dr. Elsa M. Lim, Madam Crystal Gay Liero, Dr. Dindo Generato, and to all our faculty members that in today's event will be lending their ears so that more knowledge can be derived from those who will be talking very important points in the different topics on K-12. We have lectures on the overview of the K-12, which is wherein the bird's eye view of which given by our college dean in his opening remarks. Also, lectures on K-12 lesson planning, lectures on K-12 classroom assessment, and lectures in K-12 classroom assessment face-to-face. Okay, so face-to-face. Because we are now in level 2, maybe next year or possibly first semester, first half of next year, we will be having really the real face-to-face session. So we are very fortunate today. Allow me to greet everybody. Good morning. So this occasion is so important because we are experiencing or we hear experiences from our countrymen who are moving, or especially the OFWs in other countries, wherein composed mainly of those professionals that are product of the 10-year basic education and limited to a direct report type, which cannot be promoted in the top position in other countries, not because of the lack of skills, but rather on the limited number of years in basic education. So this event today will equip our faculty members on how to handle students, for them to be equipped as well with basic knowledge that they will be using during their stay in the tertiary level, and eventually will count them as one of those top professionals, not only in our country, but sabi nga nila po, napakadaya naman. We are doing our best to improve our skills. We got these very, very bright professionals, but they are second only to the best in the world sa tingin po ng mga students. That's why the K-12, the program launched by the Department of Education through the help of the Congress and the Senate, put that into a Republic Act so that the basic education in the Philippines will be improved not only on the skills of faculty members, skills of students, but delivering the needed equivalent number of years para parehas na tayo with. Sabi nga ni Sir, when the K-12 started, sabi ni Sir Ronnie, only 3 countries, 2 from Africa and 1 from Asia. And from Asia is our country. So, nakalampas na po tayo. Nagawa na natin ang paraan. Magsimula tayo sa K-12. Ngayon, meron na tayong mga graduates ng K-12. And dumaan tayo sa pandemic. That's why kailangan po nating magkaroon ang strategy for new normal. Marami po tayong kailangang paghandaan. Our faculty members should be equipped at most advanced way of teaching in K-12 is needed for our students to be well equipped with those basic education that is of great help to them when they go to tertiary level and eventually in landing in a very good job. So I would like to give an example of those faculty members that were not product of teachers' education. They are having this qualification of a professional from different field. And they equip themselves with 18 units education, and then they got this very important teachers course. One of them, ako po yun, nakikita ko dito sa ating topics today, may improve po ako. And lahat ng katulad ko ay mai-improve today, especially yung mga nagtuturo natin sa mga GE courses. So we hope faculty members and the student teacher lend their ears so that every aspect of being that could be gained during this activity. So thank you very much. Ano po ba kayo? Ang role ko po kasi is to inspire. So maybe I could inspire you in the way na kagaya ko, hindi nagmula sa teachers education, college of teachers education, subalit nagtudyagi para makakuha ng units for education and past teachers. Kami po ang higit maputulungan nyo, including also our students. And to those seasoned faculty members, we want to get your cooperation also in the discussions regarding topics and questions and clarifications from us. So with that, good morning everybody. Mabuhay po.
Thank you very much sa ating napakasipag na Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Dabalos, for that inspirational message. So I guess everyone is ready. Everyone in this Zoom conference is ready to listen to our first lecture as well as our 2.4 million viewers on YouTube. Ay ready na rin para makinig para sa ating first lecture sa araw na ito sa ating webinar on K-12 Basic Education Program. So without any further ado, let us listen to the lecture on the overview of the K-12 Basic Education Program, and this will be rendered to us by a public schools district supervisor of the DepEd Calapan City Division. Let us all welcome Dr. Maria Cristiteta L. Andaya. Doc?
Good morning. Good morning to each
Good morning
and everyone. To the Vice President of Academic Affairs,
Good morning po.
Dr. Nemesio H. Davalos, to the Dean of the College of Teacher Education, Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, to the faculty members, and to our fourth year BS Ed and the BE Ed students, the pre-service teachers. Once again, good morning to each and everyone. So let me first present my discussion. Okay. Allow me to discuss with you the overview of the K-12 basic education program. So before you experience the application of the teaching learning process, there is a need to gain knowledge on what the K-12 basic education program is all about. It is a fact that Filipinos are known to be competitive in the international community. However, our educational system hinders us from becoming even more competitive. So in school year 2012-2013, as what was discussed a while ago by our dean, it was enhanced, educational system in the Philippines was enhanced from the years of basic education to a 12-year program through an initiative called the Basic Education Program. So K stands for kindergarten, and 12 refers to the succeeding 12 years of basic education, which is why it is called K-12. The 12 years of basic education comprises 6 years of elementary, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. The implementation of the K-12 basic education program is considered to be one of the most significant educational reforms in the country. It introduces programs and projects that aim to expand and improve the delivery of basic education. And to characterize the program, the K-12 BEP, it shall be learner-centered. It should be relevant, responsive, and research-based. Also, the curriculum should be contextualized and global, and it shall use pedagogical approaches. It will adhere to the principles and framework of the multilingual education. And that is what you call the mother tongue. And of course, it will use the spiral progression approach. And it shall be flexible to enable students to localize, indigenize, and enhance. Next, it says also that the K-12 basic education program is a curriculum that is accurate in content, at par with the basic education curricula of other Asia Pacific countries, and most importantly, appropriate to the learner's development. It provides Filipino learners with the necessary skills and competence to prepare them to take into the challenges of the 21st century. So, to give you the background and rationale of the K-12 basic education program, this is a product of the collaboration with the Commission on Higher Education, the CHED, and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, the TESDA, and of course, the presence of the academe and industry partners. And the studies and proposals for a 12-year basic education reform started as early as 1925. And this is what you call the Monroe Survey of 1925. Until the 1930s, the Philippines actually had 11 years of basic education, 7 years of primary, and 4 years of secondary schooling. There had been plans to move the 7th year of primary grades in secondary education, and then add another year to make 12 years. However, these plans did not materialize as these were overtaken by various socio-political events. Then, the Department of Education, recognizing the need and significance of preparing the preschool learners for daily life and schooling, pursued many initiatives to establish the kindergarten program. This included the issuance of a policy document in 1971, which encouraged schools division offices to establish preschool classes in 2008. Okay. And the DepEd subsidized the honorarium of volunteer kindergarten teachers to teach more 5-year-old children, especially those without preschool experience, and ensure their readiness for school. So there came the summer preschool education in 2010. Okay. Among the most relevant breakthrough was the passing of the Republic Act number 898T. That is the Early Childhood Care and Development Act, which sustained an interagency and multi-sectoral collaboration to guarantee delivery of holistic services to children up to 6 years old. 10, at the international front, the ASEAN 2015 chartered the economic integration of the region. And to meet the goals, the ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, working on the qualifications reverse framework, enable comparisons of education qualifications among member states. So being the only ASEAN country with less than 12 years of basic education became further motivation for the Philippines to extend its secondary education by 2 years. And then on January 20, 2012, this is now the Republic Act number 10157, the Kindergarten Education Act of 2012 was passed into law, making kindergarten mandatory for all learners. And its implementing rules and regulations are found in DepEd orders, which released in DepEd. And on May 15, 2012, 2013, Republic Act number 10533, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, was passed into law. That is RA 10533 added 2 years of senior high school to broaden the goals of high school education for college preparation, vocational and technical career opportunities, as well as creative arts, sports, and entrepreneurial employment. Okay, so that was how the K-12 basic education program started. Next. Yan. As you can see on this slide, it started the implementation of this BEP, K-12 BEP was done on school year 2012 to 2013. The grade 1 entrants are the first batch, to fully undergo the program. And the current first-year junior high school students, or the grade 7, are the first to undergo the enhanced secondary education program. So that was the transition from the existing 10-year basic education to 12 years. So this is now how it started. The K-12 covers kindergarten and 12 years of basic education, 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. And started from kinder, and then primary education, that is from grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then the junior high school, 4 grade levels, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10. And the added 2 years in high school, that is grade 11 and grade 12. So that composed the K-12 basic education. Now, the context of the K-12 was formulated based on philosophical and legal basis. So it was based on the 1987 Philippine Constitution, the Batasang Pambansa 232, the Education Act of 1982, Republic Act 9155, Philippine Governance Act. Then we have the 4 pillars of education, the UNESCO, the Vision Mission Statement of DepEd, the EDCOM report of 1991, and the BESRA, okay? And the BESRA, this is the Basic Education Sector Research Agenda. So this was formulated based on this philosophical and legal basis. Now, we have 4 key stages of the K-12 basic education program. Key stage 1, that is kinder to grade 3. Yun po yung tinatawag nating K-3. No? The key stage 2, that's grades 4 to 6. Key stage 3, the junior high school, starting from grade 7 up to grade 10. And the key stage 4, the senior high school, grades 11 and 12. These key stages are the distinct developmental milestone. So in each key stage, the learner is able to demonstrate the degree or quality of proficiency on what you call the key stage standards. Now, why is there a need to implement the K-12 basic education program? Why 12 years of basic education? And how are we going to compare it from the old curriculum? Okay, first one of the reasons is that the K-12 offers a decongested 12-year program that provides students sufficient time to master concepts and skills and absorb basic competencies. Okay, that's a good advantage, no? While if you're going to compare it to the old system, well, students lack mastery of basic competencies due to a congested 10-year basic education curriculum. So the more the years of learning, for sure, the more a mastery of the skills, the mastery of basic competencies. The second reason why why there is implementation of the K-12 BEP is that students in the K-12 will graduate at the age of 18 and will be ready for employment, entrepreneurship, middle-level skills development, and higher education upon graduation. So if I remembered right, when I graduated in high school, I was then 16, no? And ito na, additional 2 years, ang ating graduate is at the age of 18. If you are going to compare it dun sa ating lumang curriculum, well, the graduates are younger than 18, nga, katulad ko, 16, and are not legally ready to get a job or start a business. So that's the advantage of K-12. Okay. The third reason is that K-12 program accelerates mutual recognition of Filipino graduates and professionals in other countries and across the world. Right. It's a fact, no? The Filipinos of K-12 are really being recognized. While if you're going to compare again, in the old curriculum, foreign countries perceive a 10-year curriculum as insufficient and do not automatically recognize overseas Filipino workers, yung mga OFW natin, as professionals, no? Yung mga professionals natin abroad, yes, they are, there are countries that does not recognize professionals with only 10 years of education. But now, with this K-12, professionals are being recognized. Another reason is that kindergarten is mandatory for 5-year-old, which is a prerequisite for admission to grade 1, no? And you cannot enter now in the K-12 without entering the kindergarten level, because that's a part of the K-12. So it's true in the old curriculum that kindergarten is optional and not a prerequisite for admission to grade 1. Okay? And another reason is that the K-12 program gives a student the chance to choose among the 3 tracks. So in the senior high school, meron tayong academic track, technology, vocational livelihood, yun yung tinatawag nating TVL, the sports track, and the arts and design. And in the K-12, this students undergo immersion, which provides relevant exposure and actual experience in their chosen track. While the 10-year curriculum, the 10-year education system offers a broad curriculum that does not include enough practical applications. I hope you will agree, no? So there is really a big difference from the old curriculum to the enhanced K-12 basic education program. Okay. Now, as you can see in the slide, on the screen, it says that the K-12 graduate is a holistically developed Filipino with 21st century skills. And what are these skills? Yung tinatawag nating 21st century skills. We have information, media, and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, communication skills, life and career skills. After acquiring all these skills, a K-12 learner will now be ready for higher education. Yan. After K-12, after grade 12, pwede na siyang mag-college and pursue higher education and ready for entrepreneurship, ready for employment, ready for middle-level skills development. So, a holistically developed Filipino must possess the 21st century skills. And these skills, the first one, the information, media, technology skills, deal with various sub-skills. Meron tayong visual and information literacies, media literacy, basic scientific, economic, and technological literacies, and multicultural literacy, as well as global awareness. Then, the learning and innovation skills, this pertains to the creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, where learners are honed in all subjects across grade levels. The communication skills, of course, there is collaboration, interaction, interpersonal skills, and these are part of the 21st century skills. Then we have the fourth 21st century skill, that is life and career skills. This is where learners are taught to be flexible, adaptable, productive, responsible in making decisions. They possess leadership abilities. They are responsible. Okay. And these skills are embedded in subjects like language, technology, and livelihood education, the TLE, mathematics and science, arts and humanities, and other learning areas. And these 21st century skills are coupled with curriculum support system, such as the teachers. And you as service teachers, practice teachers, will form part of the support system. And as future teachers, you will be guided with the DepEd Order, what's that? Number 42, series of 2019. That is the PPST. You will encounter that. That is, PPST stands for the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Another support system are the materials, facilities, and equipment. We really need learning resources, no? Like the textbooks, different, meron tayong mga curriculum guides na ginagamit sa K-12. We have learning materials, no? And in this pandemic situation, we resort to other learning resources because in this new normal, no, different learning modalities are being implemented in schools in the division of Calapan City, and more schools engage in the modular distance learning delivery modality and online learning. So the resources needed for the modular distance learning are the SLMs, the self-learning modules, and the learner's activity sheets, the worksheets, and other supplementary materials na kailangan ng ating learners, no? And if the modality is online learning, online distance learning, so there should be available gadgets. Dapat ang learners natin merong cellphone, laptop, desktop, no? Smartphones, of course, and of course, the very important is access to the internet. So the online learning naman po can be asynchronous or asynchronous one. Okay? And meron din tayong blended learning. So pareho ang gumagamit ng materials, the SLMs, the LAS, and the activity sheets po yun, and the use of the internet. So that is the blended learning. That is a combination of the modular distance learning and online learning. And also, meron tayong printed modular distance learning and online distance learning. And so happy to inform you that in this month of March 2022, the Schools Division of Calapan City will launch the DepEd teleklase, no? And this will be another learning modality that is the TV-based instruction. Okay? So another support system includes a powerful ICT environment. Then we have assessment. This will be discussed by another resource speaker, I think, this afternoon. Then we have the school leadership and management. Of course, in this curriculum, dapat there should be a strong support from the school leaders in managing the school operations. Then we have another support system from the schools division, technical assistance. That's why in the division of Calapan City, we have our division education program supervisors. Meron tayong public schools district supervisors, no? And they are providing the needed technical assistance, providing support to the school heads, to the teachers, as well as the learners. And of course, community industry relevance and partnership. And ito naman po, we get this from the support from our stakeholders, from NGOs, from government organizations, alumni, LGUs, and others. Okay, and for the the next slide is for the monitoring of the monitoring and evaluation system. Now, let me go back to my discussion. After the curriculum support system, we have the monitoring and evaluation system. No, in here, this has been established to ensure that the objectives of the program are met. If the expected competencies of the K-12 graduates are met based on the 21st century skills as contained in the curriculum. Okay, next. Now let's talk about the K-12 conceptual framework. As you can see in the illustration, a learner who completed the K-12 basic education program is equipped with the following 21st century skills. Okay, let me recall that. What are those skills again? The learning and innovation skills, the life and career skills, what else? Effective communication skills, and information media and technology skills. So these skills are embedded in the curriculum and gradually developed through the learning competencies and performance standards. The application of these 21st century skills are embedded in different learning areas. Ayan, you can see learning areas. We have mathematics and science, arts and humanities, what else? Language, technology and livelihood education. So these learning areas are taught using interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches in formal education and integration of lessons in the learning areas in the non-formal education. And of course, to gain successful implementation of the K-12 basic education program, curriculum support system is needed. No? You know, as what I discussed a while ago, these are the support from the family, internal and external stakeholders, instructional support from our teachers, yung ating mga learning resources na gagamitin, no? Then we have the societal support. Of course, we need support from the public and private partnership, from the media, from government organizations, NGOs, and others, and administrative support from the central office, Dapat Central Office, regional office, division office, and of course from our schools. So to gain successful implementation of this K-12 BEP, the curriculum support really is very much needed. All these are important in order to produce a holistically developed Filipino with 21st century skills. Okay, now let me discuss with you the salient features of the K-12 basic education. First is strengthening early childhood education, that is the universal kindergarten. Next, making the curriculum relevant to learners, building proficiency through language, ensuring integration and seamless learning, gearing up for the future, and nurturing the holistically developed Filipino. No? Okay. So these are the salient features of the K-12. Ayan po, as you can see, these are the 6 salient features. Let's proceed let's discuss the first feature, that is strengthening early childhood education. So every Filipino child, no, has in this K-12 has access to early childhood education. No, early childhood education refers to the kindergarten. At 5 years old, children start schooling and given the means to slowly adjust to formal education. These early years is the foundation of lifelong learning and for the child's total development. The second salient feature is making the curriculum relevant to learners. Of course, there is a need to contextualize, to localize, and enhance. And it says that the curriculum shall be contextualized and global. It shall be flexible enough to enable and allow schools to localize, indigenize, and enhance based on their respective educational and social contexts. Why do we need to contextualize and enhance the curriculum? Of course, to make the lessons relevant to the learners and easy to understand. Teachers provide, how are we going to contextualize? So teachers will provide varied examples, activities. They can produce songs, create poems, and create stories and illustrations based on local culture, history, and reality. Okay. The third feature is building proficiency through language, and that is the mother tongue-based multilingual education. Students were able to learn best through their first language. No? Di ba po ba? Yung tinatawag nating mother tongue. Kaya meron pong subjects sa K-3 na mother tongue. No? And that's the mother tongue language. This has been introduced since the school year 2012 to 2013. And additional local languages were added in the succeeding school years. Mas madali pong matuto ang bata kung gagamitin talaga natin muna as the foundation is the mother tongue language. Then, the fourth feature is ensuring integration and seamless learning. So this is also very important. Spiral progression. Ano po ba yung tinatawag nating spiral progression? Okay. In the spiraling of the content, no? Unang-una, basic concepts or the general concepts are first learned. Then, in spiral progression, yung more complex and sophisticated versions of the basic or general concepts are then rediscovered in the succeeding grades. And this strengthens retention and enhances mastery of topics and skills as they are revisited again. No, they're revisited and consolidated time and again. Okay. And spiral progression allows learners to learn topics and skills appropriate to their developmental and cognitive stages. To explain more on spiral progression, it means that subjects are taught from the simplest concepts to a more complicated concepts through grade levels. So as early as elementary, students gain knowledge in areas such as biology, chemistry, geometry, earth science, algebra, and others. So this ensures mastery of skills after its level. Halimbawa po, example, nung sa high school, no? In high school, in the second year, biology is taught. Tama? Chemistry is in third year, and physics is in fourth year. But in the K-12 curriculum, these subjects are connected. What we call this? They are integrated from grade 7 to grade 10. No? Naka-integrate na yon. Let's say, for example, grade 7, there are 4 quarters, no, in a year. For the first quarter, they're going to take, I think it's earth science, and then for the second quarter, let's say biology, third quarter chemistry, fourth quarter physics. So in other words, all these subjects are integrated in all grade levels. No? So yung concepts from the simplest concept, as you go on with the grade levels, syempre, nadidiscuss na yung nagiging more complicated, na more general concepts, nahihimay po hanggang grade 10, no? Integrated from grade 7 to 10. So, hindi lang po na-apply yon sa science, same method is used in other learning areas like mathematics. Okay, next, the fifth feature is gearing up for the future. So we are referring to the senior high school, the grades 11 and 12. So senior high school is 2 years of specialized upper secondary education. And in the K-12 program, students may choose a specialized, they may choose a, what do you call this? A specialization based on aptitude and interest, and of course, the school capacity. No? So these are the senior high school core curriculum learning areas. There are 8, okay? And then the choice of career track will define the content of the subjects a student will take in grade 11 and 12. The senior high school subjects fall under the core curriculum, or what you call the specific track. So as you can see, there are 4 senior high school tracks. We have what you call the academic track, technical vocational livelihood track, sports track, and the arts and design track. And in the academic track po, meron siyang mga strands, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na UMS. Ayan, nandyan sa slide, we have UMS is Humanities and Social Science. Meron tayong GAS. GAS is General Academic, no? And UMS, General Academic, we have ABM, that is Accountancy, Business and Management. Meron tayong STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And yan po ang 6, I think there are 6 strands, no, under the academic track. Then, tech book, meron din po yan. Let's see. Yan. For the tracks, ayan, discuss na po dito for the core subjects. Sa tech book, we have home economics, agri-fishery, industrial arts, and ICT. Then, meron tayong track where subjects pertaining to the sports, ayan, sports track, and arts and design track. I think in the division of Calapan City, ang OMNHS is the only school that offers the all the tracks. Meron silang academic track, tech book, sports, arts and design. Nag-o-offer sila under this academic track ng GAS, STEM, ABM, and UMS. And sa TLE, I think, meron silang home economics and ICT. Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali. Okay. Other secondary schools offering the senior high school program ay merong kanya-kanya din pong tracks offered. Okay po. And the last, what is that? The last strand is, I missed those strand, that is nurturing the holistically developed Filipino. No po? And ito naman po is the graduate of the K-12, syempre, will nurture holistically developed Filipino. And that is after going through the kindergarten, the enhanced elementary and senior high school curriculum, tapos nag-specialize sila sa senior high school. So every K-12 graduate will be ready to go into different paths for further education, magka-college, for employment, or entrepreneurship. Okay po. Okay. Let's move forward. Yan. What will the graduate of senior high school will obtain or will get? No? Anong ma-achieve nila? So ikaw, if you are a graduate of grade 6, of course, you are going to receive an elementary school diploma. Ayan. If you're completed the junior high school, meron kang diploma. And of course, the senior high school. No? Kompleto yan. If you undergo the K-12 basic education program. Oh, I'm done. And but because of our present pandemic situation, there was a shift in the means of providing instruction to our learners from the face-to-face instruction to distance learning. So the implementation of what you call the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, or the BELCP, served as the guide in delivering education in the new normal. Okay, so the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan is the Department of Education's response in the time of COVID-19 to the challenges in the field of basic education. Sabi ko nga po, yan. Ito po ang guide ng pag-deliver, guide sa mga schools kung paano i-deliver ang education in the new normal. And in here, the BELCP covers the essential requirements in education. No? The most essential learning competencies. Dun sa ating regular, yung normal situation, pinag-aaralan po lahat ng learning competencies in its learning area per grade level. But ngayon, nasa pandemic po tayo, meron po tayong tinatawag na MELCs, that is the most essential learning competencies na dapat ibigay or matutunan ng ating mga learners. We have multiple learning delivery modalities for teachers, school learners, and school leaders and learners. So, as what I've said, meron tayong modular distance in this time of pandemic, and most of our schools are utilizing that modality. We have online learning, online distance learning. Meron din tayong blended, that is a combination ng modular, digital, printed, modular distance, learning at blended learning, no? And nagre-require din, of course, ng health standards in schools and workplace. And special activities like Brigada Eskwela, o Plan Balik Eskwela, and partnerships, as well as adjustment. No? Nagkaroon na po tayo ng adjustment because of the pandemic in the academic school calendar since school year 2020 to 2021 up to the present. I think in this school year, 2021-2022, nag-start po ang school year ng September, in September 13, 14, and then mag-i-end po ito ng April. Ano po? Okay? So we are using the BELCP. And now, with the present health status and improvement in our province in response to COVID-19 pandemic, at present, there are 3 schools who have just started implementing the limited face-to-face classes last February 21, 2022. Meron po kaming 2 elementary schools and 1 secondary school. And then, yesterday, another secondary school, the Managpi National High School, nag-implement na rin po ng limited face-to-face classes. And there are still we have 7 secondary schools who are expected to do the same. And for your information, other schools are preparing for the limited face-to-face classes. And ano po itong limited face-to-face classes? Ito po ay combination of the face-to-face learning and the modular learning. It depends on the school kung ano yung kanilang prepared class program. Merong school na 1 week, the students will undergo the face-to-face, and then on the next week, modular. Yung naman nag-modular, on the next week, magpa-face-to-face. Ganun po ang proseso. So, it's a good news to everyone, you know? And who knows, maybe in the next few months or next year, we will go back to the normal delivery of instruction to our learners. Kumbaga, utay-utay po, dahan-dahan lang. Ano po? So, to all our student teacher participants, I hope I was able to give you information on the overview of the K-12 basic education program. No? And I know that you will be deployed in different schools in the division of Calapan City, or maybe in the division of Oriental Mindoro. So welcome to the world of teaching. Good luck and God bless. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our dear speaker, Dr. Maria Crisitita L. Andaya, our Calapan City Division Supervisor. Thank you for that very informative lecture on the K-12 education program. And at this juncture, maybe we could present now our certificate of appreciation. So let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen now? So we would like to present this certificate of appreciation to our dear speaker, and it reads Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro. Certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Dr. Maria Crisitita L. Andaya in grateful recognition of her invaluable insights and expertise as resource speaker during the webinar on K-12 Basic Education Program for the pre-service teachers. Given this 4th day of March 2022 at the Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro, signed Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, Dean, College of Teacher Education, and Dr. Nemesio H. Davalos, Vice President for Academic Affairs. To our dear speaker, thank you very much, Dr. Maria Crisitita L. Andaya.
Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po
Salamat po.
for keeping us updated of the situation of our basic education. So maybe at this juncture, before we proceed with our next speaker, while we're waiting for our next speaker, maybe we could entertain at least 2 questions if you do have questions for Dr. Maria Crisitita Andaya. So our dear participants in the Zoom conference, habang inaayos ko din ang aking screen.
Sir, do we have some questions in the chat box? Do we have?
Actually checking it po. So I guess everything is clear. So wala namang gustong magtanong. So if you do have questions, you can type it in the chat box, those who are in the Zoom conference. And maybe later we could entertain questions from our live stream. So everything would be clarified if you have some queries. And at this juncture, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Marino Cueto, our DepEd Supervisor from Calapan City Division. Good morning po and welcome. Nandito po ba si Dr. Cueto?
Morning po.
Ayan. Doc, can we see you? Can you open your camera for a while? Ayan, Dr. Cueto, thank you very much for joining us here. Maraming salamat po. So if we do not have question, maybe we could proceed with our next speaker this time. Okay, so our next lecture would be a lecture on the K-12 classroom lecture on K-12 lesson planning, and this would be rendered to us by another public schools district supervisor from the DepEd Calapan City Division. So let us have Dr. Eva Balinton. Do we have Dr.
Hello.
Eva?
Hello, good morning,
Doc?
everyone. Hello. Hello.
Hello po.
Am I heard?
Yes, yes, Doc, you are heard. Very clear.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone, to the Dean of College of Teacher Education, Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, to the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Nemesio H. Davalos, to the faculty, teachers, to my colleagues, and especially to the pre-service teachers of Mindoro State University. Pleasant morning to everyone. So it's my honor to be invited here in your platform for a discussion about lesson planning. Okay, so let me share my presentation. Okay, can you see it now, my dear participants? Can you see my presentation?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. So let us proceed. So my topic is all about the DepEd Order number 42, Series 2016, and this is all about the policy guidelines on daily lesson preparation for K-12 basic education program. Now, for the session objectives, at the end of this session, you are going to know the implementation of DepEd Order number 42, Series 2016, enumerate the importance of instructional planning, identify the parts of the DLL or Daily Lesson Log or DLP or Detailed Lesson Plan, and formulate unified plan. Appreciate lesson planning and understand its context and framework. Okay. So we said that the department ensures that the policy is comprehensive to address relevant issues and concerns raised by the educators, specifically teachers nationwide. And the department strongly encourages all teachers, school heads, and supervisors to thoroughly read the policies for their own advantage. Okay, so let us proceed to the legal basis. So DepEd recognizes that instructional planning is essential to successful teaching and learning, of course. So as teachers, we have to plan our instruction. Sabi nga, it is a crime for teachers to come to school and face his or her class without lesson plan. Okay, so legal basis. This Article 4, Section 2 of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, adopted in 1997 through Board Resolution number 435 by the Board of Professional Teachers. It says there that every teacher shall uphold the highest standards of quality education, shall make the best preparations for the career of teaching, and shall be at his best at all times in the practice of his profession. And this is true for us teachers. So this policy is therefore meant to support teachers in upholding quality education standards by affirming the importance of instructional planning through daily lesson plan preparation. So this is the most crucial and important role of teachers, that is to prepare his or her daily lesson plans. Okay? So DepEd Order number 42, Series 2016 states that this aims to assist teachers in not only effectively managing instruction, but also managing the performance as one of their core functions, which is to facilitate learning inside the classroom. So the teacher is really the facilitator of learning in the classroom. This DepEd order provides the guidelines in the preparation of daily lessons through the DLP and DLL by teachers from K to 12. Okay? Now, this DepEd order was developed in collaboration with teachers and school heads to ensure that those affected by the policy would be consulted, because this DLL started since 2016 only. Okay? So when our um, uh, then newly appointed Secretary Dr. Leonor Magtolis. Okay. What is the rationale for this? Now, instructional planning is essential to teaching and learning. As what I have said a while back, research shows that effective teachers organize and plan their instruction. And planning is fundamental in ensuring the delivery of teaching and learning in schools. Now, so based on this following theories. So, dito naka-base yung policy natin, yung DepEd order natin about lesson planning. The first theory is, instructional planning is essential to successful teaching and learning. This is according to Dick and Razor, 1996. Now, when we say instructional planning, it is the process of determining what learning opportunities students in school will have. First, we have to plan the content of instruction. So we have to plan for the subject matter. We have to plan for the topic. Then, selecting teaching materials. Of course, we have to select the appropriate teaching materials, the learning resources that we are going to use for a specific lesson. We have to design the learning activities and grouping methods. So the different strategies, there comes in the differentiated instruction. And we have to decide on the pacing and allocation of instructional time. So every subject has its allotted time. So we have to plan according to that allotted time for a specific subject. So naka-anchor po dun yung ating mga activities dun sa naka-allot na oras. Okay? For theory B, or the second theory, it says that instructional planning helps ensure that the time spent inside the classroom is maximized for instruction. So that is used truly for instruction only. This should be responsive to learners' needs and therefore communicates expectations of achievement to learners. Ayan. So tingnan natin yung mga naka-highlight, maximized for instruction. It should be responsive. So instruction should be responsive to learners' needs and it should communicate expectations of achievement. Achievement among our learners. So mayroon bang progress after the lesson? Is there any progress? Is there any achievement or is there any improvement in the performance of our learners? Okay. So that is theory B according to Strong 2007. The third theory is effective teachers organize and plan their instruction. Okay, that is the third one. So what is now the context? So it said that planning lessons is fundamental to ensuring the delivery of teaching and learning in school. So the core of our learning or the center of the teaching and learning process is our learners, our students, our pupils in the elementary. Okay, so it aims to support teachers in organizing and managing their classes and lessons effectively and efficiently and ensure the achievement of learning outcomes. So, ito yung output. So, what will be the output? Is there any gain? Okay, so among our learners, is there any improvement in the performance? So, that is the aim of instruction. Okay, so what are the elements of effective teaching? First, identifying clear lesson and clear objectives while carefully linking activities to them, which is essential for effectiveness. Okay, so before we proceed to the main lesson, we have the objectives should be clear. Sabi nga, dapat smart objectives. And of course, the activities should be integrated with the strategies that we are going to employ in our lesson. Okay? So creating quality assignments, which is positively associated with quality instruction and quality student work. Okay. So planning lessons that have clear goals are logically structured and progress through the content step by step. That is why we have steps to follow in the preparation of lesson plan and in the execution of our lesson. Then, planning the instructional strategies to be deployed in the classroom and the timing of these strategies. Okay, so we are talking here of the strategies, the approaches that the teacher will use, and of course, the time frame Sabi natin yung time allotment for the specific lesson in a certain subject. Okay? So, we will now move to the instructional process. It is said that instructional process is made up of 3 steps. And what are those steps? First, planning instruction. We have to plan our instruction through the preparation of our daily lesson plans. And then the delivery of instruction. This is the execution of our prepared lesson plan. And the third one is the assessment of learning. After the presentation, discussion, the execution of the lesson, we are going to assess the performance of our learners based on the instruction that we have given to our learners. So this means that a teaching begins even before a teacher steps in front of a class and begins a lesson. Okay? Remember that teaching begins even before a teacher steps in front of a class and begins a lesson. Okay? So, the first one is planning instruction. Ito na po yun. Ito lang natin sa diagram. Delivery of instruction and assessment of learning. Okay? So, this is now the instructional process. This is the diagram. We started first with the planning instruction or pagpaplano. And then delivery of instruction, which is the gawa, implementation, execution, and the assessment of learning or pagtatasa or pagsusukat, okay, ng kaalaman o natutunan ng ating mga bata. So this is based on the theory of DIM. D, which means develop, I, which means implement, and M, which is measure. So develop, that is developing or planning the instruction, developing a lesson plan. And then implement, that is the delivery of the planned lesson plan, delivery of instruction, that is implement. And measure is the assessment of learning. Okay. So this is the instructional process diagram or matrix. So failing to plan is planning to fail. That planning is really necessary. And a well lesson plan is a lesson action. So if you prepare your lesson plan before you face your class, you are in a halfway of your instruction because you already have the plan. Okay? So a well lesson plan is a lesson half done. Okay. Now let's now proceed to the main core of this discussion, that is lesson planning. So what is lesson planning? Planning lessons increases a teacher's chances of carrying out a lesson successfully. Lesson planning inculcates reflective practice as it allows teachers to think about their teaching. So as you go along with the process of lesson planning, you have that reflection in mind that your instruction, if your instruction will become successful or not. Okay? Lesson planning helps teachers master learning area content. Okay? So, it is necessary for a teacher to have the mastery of the subject matter, mastery of the topic, mastery of the learning area content. So, daily lesson preparation is a part of teachers' core function as the facilitator of learning inside the classroom. Well-prepared and well-planned lessons are fundamental to ensuring the delivery of quality teaching and learning in schools. Okay? So lesson planning is one way of planning instruction. This is a way of visualizing a lesson before it is taught. It entails prediction, okay, anticipation, sequencing, and simplifying. So when you prepare your lesson plan, you have there the prediction process, you anticipate, you sequence the steps, and you even simplify or modify or even do the localization. Okay? And lesson planning is a crucial part of teaching and learning process. Kasi if we fail in the lesson planning, the whole instruction will be a failure. Okay? So the primary objective of lesson planning is learning. It helps teachers guarantee that learners reach those targets. Activities inside the classroom lead to learner progress and achievement or attainment of learning outcomes. Okay? Hello po. Para pong may bukas na mic. Okay, kindly mute po. Okay, thank you. So, lesson planning is also a hallmark of effective teaching. Okay, so when we say hallmark, it has a distinctive feature. Okay, it ensures learner success inside the classroom. So, let's now move to the types of lesson plan. So, at this point, so we consider three kinds of lesson planning. The first one is what we call the detailed lesson plan or the DLP. The second one is the DLL or the daily lesson log. And the third one, the new one, which is adaptive to this pandemic period, is the weekly home learning plan or the WHLP. So we will discuss this one by one para po malinaw para sa atin as teachers in the future. Dapat po alam natin itong mga lesson plans na ito and how are we going to prepare these plans. Okay, so let us first have the DLP. So what is a detailed lesson plan or DLP? So DLP is a teacher's roadmap for a lesson. DLP contains a detailed description of the steps a teacher will take to teach a particular topic or lesson. Or in short, this is the traditional way of the traditional plan, and we use the traditional way of preparing this plan. So this is the DLP. Okay. When we say DLL or daily lesson log, it is a template teachers use to log parts of their daily lesson. Kaya nga po log, So you just log the parts of the lesson. It covers a daily or week's worth of a lesson. So pwede pong daily yung ating lesson log or you can do it in a weekly basis. Okay? So ito yung tingnan natin, yung flexibility clause in the preparation of DLL. Flexibility is allowed in the delivery of the DLL procedures. Teachers do not need to go through all 10 parts of the DLL in every lesson. So as we go along, makikita natin na ang DLL ay may 10 parts during the delivery part. So teachers need to ensure that the procedures of the lesson lead to the achievement of the stated objectives. Okay, tingnan po natin. Who are required to prepare a DLL or DLP? Maaaring itanong po ninyo, sino po magpiprepare ng DLL? Are we going to prepare both the DLL and DLP? Okay, look at this. DLP or the detailed lesson plan is for newly hired teachers without professional teaching experience. Okay, let us take you as an example. So if you are going to be hired for this coming year or for the next year, so you as newly hired teacher will prepare the DLP. So hindi po kayo pwede magreklamo kasi ito po yung nasa policy. you will be preparing the DLP. But of course, sasabihin nyo, ay, DLP pala lang ang ipiprepare ko. Hindi ko na pag-aaralan yung DLL sa susunod na lang after 2 years or 3 years. So much better din po na malaman din natin ngayon ano ba yung mga parts ng DLL. Okay? Next, aside from the newly hired teachers, the master teacher who will be giving the demonstration teaching will also prepare DLP. So yung ating mga master teachers, kapag sila ay magde-demo in front of his or her colleagues, or siya ay nausap na mag-demo in a certain training or seminar, ang gagamitin niya pong lesson plan is DLP. Kahit pa siya ay more than 10 or 15 years na in the service. Kasi he or she will use this plan exclusive, or ang purpose niya is to to demonstrate. So the master teacher will use the DLP for demonstration teaching purposes. Okay? So tingnan natin din, ito pong mga parts ng DLP or Detailed Lesson Plan. Of course, it started with the objectives, then content, learning resources, may procedures, remarks, and reflection. So before, siguro nung college days during our times, yung traditional lesson plan, wala po siyang remarks, walang reflection. But this time, nag-e-end lang siya sa assignment. But this time, assignment is part of the procedures. Mayroon pa siyang another part, which is the fifth one, which is the remarks, and the sixth part, the reflection. So in Filipino yan, or in Tagalog, layunin, nilalaman, kagamitang pampagtuturo or learning resources, pamamaraan, remarks, pahayag, at reflection, pagmumuni. Okay. So, ito po yung parts ng ating daily detailed lesson plan. Let's now proceed to the daily lesson log. Who will be preparing the DLL? For teachers who have been in the service for at least 1 year. Okay? Handling learning areas with available LMs and TGs, or learning materials and teacher guides. And this DLL can be collaboratively done by both the newly hired teachers and the seasoned teachers. Now, sabihin natin dito, if the teachers na nasa field, kahit pa siya 2 or 3 years na in the field, pero walang available na learning materials and walang available na teacher guides, ang gagamitin pa rin po niya ay daily lesson or detailed lesson plan. Kasi wala siyang any references. So gagawa siya ng sarili niyang plan, teacher-made plan, and that is detailed. Pero, ngayon naman po, present ang ating mga CGs or curriculum guides, merong learners materials, merong teacher guides. So, yung mga teachers who have been in the service for at least 1 year can proceed or can do this DLL. Ayan. So, sana malinaw na ha, who will prepare the DLL and who will prepare the DLP. Okay? Same content, objectives, content, learning resources, same steps, procedures, remarks, and reflections. Okay. So, ano lang natin ha, nag-flashback lang tayo sa parts of detailed lesson plan. Although alam na naman po natin ito before kasi ito yung traditional way of preparing the lesson plan. So, recall lang natin the parts of detailed lesson plan. First, we have these objectives. Okay. But before we prepare this detailed lesson plan, let's make sure that we have our curriculum guide with us, the teacher's guide, and the learner's materials. Yun po muna. Meron muna tayong mga references in the preparation of lesson plan. At CG, o curriculum guide, kaya po when you are already in the field, dapat po yung mga terms na yan, yung mga acronyms na yan, master po natin. So pag sinabi natin CG, that is curriculum guide. When we say TG, that is teacher's guide. And when we say LMs, that is learner's materials. Okay? So first is the objectives. And objectives has three main components. First is the content standards. So ano ba yung content standards? It includes all the knowledge, the content, of course, the content itself, and the pedagogies. Okay? And then when we say performance standards, it includes the skills and abilities that the learners should master after the end of the lesson. And the last one is the learning competencies or the main objectives. This is your competency for the day in a certain topic or subject matter. Okay, so this is standardized, ano? In a standardized format. Ito pong learning competencies, when we say in a standardized format, may code. So later, I'll present to you the coding. Coding po natin for specific competency. Okay? So, content standards, performance standards, and learning competencies. And then the second one, part 2, is the content. In the content, of course, you have there the subject matter and the topic to be discussed for that particular period. Okay? And then the learning resources, part 3. So the learning resources, it includes the TG, the CG first, CG, curriculum guide, the TG pages, the LM pages. If you are going to use the textbook, the pages ng textbook na gagamitin, and the learner's materials, the sources of learner's materials, if it is from DepEd portal, or LRMDS, so tayo po may LRMDS in the public school, and other references. If you are going to use the internet, yung mga links, mga websites, nakalagay po iyon sa learning resources. Okay? And part 4 is the procedure. Hello po. I mute po.
Please.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Are you still with me? Hello?
Yes, po.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay.
Continue po.
Okay. Thank you. Okay po.
Yes po.
So, yes po. So, procedure. Ito yung most important part of the lesson, of the instruction. And procedure has 3 parts. That is before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. So, before the lesson, we have there the review. Okay. So, the link between the previous lesson and the present lesson. Okay? This should be relevant, should be prerequisite. Okay. And then the second one is the purpose. So before it can be a motivation. Okay? So relevance, or must be able to make the topic relevant to the learners. Okay. You have to establish a sense of purpose. And then the third for the before the lesson is the presentation. In here, how the topic is to be presented. Okay. And then the second part is during the lesson, that is the discussion part. In the discussion part, we have to discuss, of course, the concepts or the skills to be developed within the particular period. And then developing mastery. That is the application part. Okay? The opportunity for the learners to practice what they have learned. So that is practical application. Okay. So connecting the learning to their learning to the instruction given by the teacher. Okay? So that is during the lesson. And after the lesson, we have there the generalization or the abstraction. Okay. And of course, the evaluation. Okay, the formative tests, the assessment part, wherein we're going to assess the performance or the learning of our pupils or students. And the fifth part is the assignment. So nakalagay doon, assignment is optional, depending upon the result of the formative test. If ever, yung result ng test ay 100% ay passing yung score ng ating mga bata, is there a need to give assignment? No need. So you can give additional task, and that additional task can be a reinforcement or an enhancement. Okay? Now, if ever the result of the formative test o yung assessment mo ay hindi naman ganun kaganda, okay? For example, 30% of your students failed. So, dyan kayo po magkakaroon ng appreciation. If you are going to give remediation, enhancement, or reinforcement. O, dun po natin makikita. Okay? So, kaya po yung formative assessment ay napakahalaga in a certain lesson or after the lesson. Okay, and yung nadagdag natin na dalawang parts for this DLP is the remarks. Okay, ano po ba yung inilalagay natin sa remarks? Yung remarks po ay case-to-case basis only. Okay, if the lesson was not finished, nagkaroon po ng kaunting gap doon sa lesson, dapat matapos mo yung lesson for that period and yet nagkaroon bigla ng pinatawag ka. May mga pagkakataong ganun, emergency, pinatawag ka ng iyong principal kasi may dumating na bisita na ikaw yung dapat na interviewin, nangyari, hindi mo natuloy. And then, nagkaroon ka na lang ng intervention para doon sa subject na yon or sa topic na yon. So, yun po, dun nyo lalagyan siya ng remarks. Okay. So, pero, hindi po dapat natin na ilagay yung the lesson should not be compromised. Yun po ay mali. Na ang lesson ay nako-compromise dahil mayroon tayong ibang task na ginawa in the school. So yun po yung ating iisipin doon. So yung remarks din po mahalaga. And then the reflections. So sa reflection, ito po na yung reflection of the whole instruction. Dito pwedeng ilagay natin how many students got the passing score, how many students need remediation, how many students were able to catch up, how many failed, how many students need instructional support, okay? Or which of my strategies work or become effective, and what technical assistance could be of help. Doon po nakalagay yan sa reflection. Is there a need for technical assistance? So, what part of the lesson? Okay? So, pwede rin ilagay natin dyan yung mga innovations. Okay? Innovations that can be shared or worth emulating. Pwede po nating ilagay yan dyan sa reflections. Okay. So, these are the parts of the detailed lesson plan. Okay? So, sana po malinaw ito. And then, let's proceed to the parts of the DLL or the daily lesson log. So, same parts din po, pero iba yung presentation. Andun pa rin siya, like the DLP, pero iba yung presentation niya. Okay, so in the objective, sabi dito, lesson plan objective shall describe the learner's behavior that should result from instruction. Okay, behavioral. State a behavior in terms that can be observed and assessed. So when we say objectives, it should be behavioral. Pag sinabi nating behavioral, ito po dapat ay observable, attainable, nakikita, and indicate the content on which the behavior will be performed. So ito po dapat yung nakalagay sa ating objectives. Okay. So, ano po ba yung characteristics of instructional objectives? So, bigyan ko lang po kayo ng kaunting, sabi po natin ay ilang mga views sa characteristics ng instructional objectives. Sabi dito, it should be clearly stated. Sabi, ang may malinaw na daraanan ay may maayos na patutunguhan. Tama naman. Kahit na baku-bako, basta may linaw, makararating ka sa tunguhin ng layon. So, the objective should be clearly stated. At sabi natin, direct to the point. Minsan, may mga pagkakataon na lumiliko, pero makikita pa rin natin na tayo ay tumutungo pa rin doon sa ating gustong tunguhin, doon sa layunin natin. Okay. Reasonable chance of achieving. Sabi po, may dahilan ang lahat ng ginagawa at nakukuha. Kung may mahihita ka sa lahat ng iyong ginagawa, ito ay dahil mayroon kang katuwiran upang ito ay makapitan. So, the objective should be reasonable. There should be a chance of achieving this. Hindi yung suntok sa buwan. Nag-target ka nito, hindi pala kayang ma-accomplish for that particular period. So, dapat po ito ay may chance of achieving. Okay? Attainable. Okay? Understood and accepted by those whose work they are supposed to influence. Okay, sabi po, kapag nauunawa ng isang usapin, madali itong matatanggap at ito ay dapat na nag-uumpisa sa taong nais na tumanggap mula sa nagpapatanggap. Ayan. Acceptable. Madaling matanggap. Ayan. So yun po yun. Dapat ang objective natin, madali siyang matanggap. Tanggap-tanggap. Yan. It reflects both individual and group needs. Hindi lang tayo nakasenter sa isang learner. So we have to consider the dynamism. Yan. Sabi nga complex. Yan. Ang tama at sapat na pagninilay ay pangangailangan ng isa at ito ay nakakaapekto sa pangangailangan ng nakararami. So, hindi lang nakasenter to one pupil alone, to one student alone, but dapat po ma-address din natin yung pangangailangan ng lahat sa ating klase. Okay? Comprehensive, but concise. Mas makabubuting maisakatuparan ang komprehensibong ulat na kinakikitaan ng sapat na dapat. Ayan. Comprehensive, it covers all, pero concise. Kumbaga po ay tayo ay specific, definite tayo sa ating target. Okay. Unity and consistency. Ang daloy na tuloy-tuloy ay nakalatay sa kaisahan at masinsin na pinagplanuhan. Okay? You have to be consistent in all this, in your strategies, in the approaches na inyong gagamitin. Okay. Dapat may unity, may integration, at mayroong connection. Okay? So yun po, dapat ang objective natin. Easily to evaluate the outcomes. Yan, baka naman hindi mo, yung sa assessment ay lahat ng bata ay bumagsak kasi hindi naman malinaw yung gusto mong tunguhin, ano gusto mong makamit ng bata. So nagpapakita ng kahusayan ang tama at husay. Ang resulta hindi dahil sa ito ay isinagawa ng pangmatagalan, bagkus ito ay naisakatuparan ng mas maaga o sa tamang panahon at oras. Ayan, kasi meron tayong early planning of the lesson at yun nga yung preparation of lesson plan. Okay, so yun po yung tungkol sa mga objectives na dapat natin tandaan in the preparation of our DLL. The second part is the content. Okay, katulad din po yun, subject matter or specific content that the lesson aims to teach. The third part is the learning resources, the list of resources that a teacher uses to deliver the lesson. Okay? The fourth part is the procedure. Ito na po. So before, in the DLP, we have 3 parts sa procedure. Diba? Meron before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. In here, sa DLL, there are 10 parts. Diba? Ang dami, ano? 10 parts dun sa procedure. Ano-ano yung mga 10 parts na yon? So, ito po yon. May template na po tayo nito. So, kung makikita po nyo sa sample na ipipresent ko mamaya, hindi nyo na kailangan pang isulat ito o i-type ito kasi may template na po tayong fill upan when we are preparing our DLL. Okay? Ito lang po yung mga parts niya. Review or presenting the lesson, establishing a purpose, meron din. Presenting examples, instances of the new lesson, ito yung presentation. Discussing new concepts, continuation of the discussion of the new concepts. Okay? Developing mastery, so meron din kanina. Then finding practical application of concepts and skills in daily living. Ito yung application. Then making generalizations and abstractions about the lesson, or simply the generalization. Evaluating learning or the evaluation. And the last part is the additional activities for application and remediation. Or instead of giving assignment, so ito yon, additional activities for application or remediation. Okay, ito po yon. So ito yon. Remember, sabi nyo, ma'am, yung ban 10 yun, amin dapat fill upan o lagyan po ba namin ng entry, yung 10 parts na yon ng DLL sa procedure? Okay, sabi dito, teachers do not need to go through all 10 parts in every lesson. Hindi pala. For today pala, itong araw na to, parang ang kaya ko lang matapos hanggang sa palimang bahagi do sa procedure. So hanggang dun lang kayo. Kung hindi kayang tapusin, so no need to go through all the 10 parts in every lesson. Teachers need to ensure that the procedures of the lesson lead to the achievement of stated objectives. Okay? So, the 10 parts of the procedure should be done across the week. So, yun. So, maa-accomplish nyo pala yung 10 parts na to ng procedures doon sa DLL across the week. So, pwede for Monday, 5 parts lang yung matapos nyo. And then, the rest of the parts of the procedure doon sa DLL ay magawa ninyo sa Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, yun po yun. Ano? So, across the week yung 10 parts. So, makikita nyo po yan mamaya sa sample. Okay? And yun, last part din, fifth part is the remarks. So, in DLL, remarks is completed. Dapat po talaga may remarks. Whatever. Okay? What happens doon sa duration ng lesson mo, ilalagay mo siya sa remarks. If not completed, indicate what part only. For example, half done. Ano lang part yung natapos. Okay, so yun po yung dapat nakalagay sa remarks. And for the reflection, o katulad din po sa kanina, sa DLP, dito naman, may nakalagay na rin po ito. Nasa template na din po ito. Fill upan nyo na lang. So, number of learners who earned 80% in the evaluation, number of learners who require additional activities, number of learners who continue to require remediation. Ayan, which of your teaching strategies work well? O may mga ginamit kang teaching strategies, ilalagay mo po dun yung best strategy mo. Okay? And what difficulties did I encounter which my principal or supervisor can help me solve? So, lalo na kapag mayroon kayong observers. So, anong difficulties? So, makikita nyo doon. Magre-reflect kayo sa difficulties na na-encounter niyo. Ilalagay nyo po doon. Kasi yun yung kailangan nyo ng technical assistance. Okay? Alright. So, ito po yun. Reflection sa parts ng DLL. Yung sinasabi ko kaninang coding, na ito po ay kasama po doon sa learning resources. Pwede rin po ito nakalagay doon sa learning competencies. May coding po ito. So, makikita nyo ito sa CG. Makikita nyo itong coding na to sa CG or curriculum guide. Ito po yon. So, first one is the subject. Anong subject po ito? Yung EN, that is English. Okay, EN, that is the code for English. And then the grade level, example for this is grade 4. Kaya EN4. So, the domain or the competency, dahil ito ay English, grade 4, ang domain or competency na gusto mong ma-develop sa lesson na yon ay reading comprehension. So, that is RC. Okay? Reading comprehension, RC. And then yung Roman number 1, that is quarter. So, this is for quarter 1. Okay? Quarter 1, week, yung letter C, that is week 3. Kasi yung week po ay pinipresent siya A, B, C. So, kung siya ay C, that is week 3. At yung competency number na nandun sa CG, that is competency number 3. So, ito yon. Pag ating i-interpret itong coding, English, grade 4, reading competency is the competency or domain. For quarter 1, week 3, competency number 3. Okay. Yan po yung coding. Kaya po sa mga observers, Pag may mga mag-o-observe, titingnan lang po yan kasi kailangan talaga ay tali siya doon sa ginamit yung CG, TG, learner's materials. So, check yan ng ating mga observers, ng ating mga supervisors, principals. Makikita niya po yan kung naka-anchor yung lesson nyo doon sa inyong reference. Okay, yan po yung coding. Okay? So, mai-encounter nyo ito talaga when you are already in the field. Okay. So, ito lang. To sum up the writing of a lesson plan. Sabi dito, dapat present ang ating TG and LM or the CG. Curriculum Guide, Teacher's Guide, Learner's Materials. And then, ito yung gagamitin natin na learner's materials, textbooks, supplementary materials if you are going to use the digital materials, the multimedia, online, dapat nakalagay po yan sa ating references. And then, yung before the lesson proper after the lesson. And remember, ito po mga textbooks, ito mga materials, they will be used as teachers' resources, not as the curriculum. O malinaw po yun. Ibig sabihin, gagamitin lang natin siyang resources. Hindi lahat na nandun sa libro, hindi lahat na nandun sa books, ay yun yung directly nating ibibigay sa mga bata. Okay? They will be used as teachers' resources only, not as curriculum. Okay. Ito na po yung sample DLL. Para malinaw po sa inyo, hindi na po ako nagbigay ng sample DLP kasi ito na yung usual nating ginagawa, ano? So, ito na lang po sa DLL. This is a week-long, na DLL. Ang presentation po nito ay buong isang linggo. So, makikita natin dito, okay, ito po ay courtesy of Tawagan Elementary School. Thank you po sa principal ng Tawagan. And sa teacher, ang teacher po ay si Miss Evelyn Lopez. Ayan. So, ito po ay DLL for English Quarter 1. Okay. Makikita nyo dito yung objectives. We have the content standards, performance objective or performance standards, and learning competencies. Okay, ito po yung tatlo, sabi natin yung 3 parts ng objectives. Content standards, performance standards, and learning competencies. Itong learning competencies, ito po yung specific na dapat matapos within the day. Ito po yung main objective for the day. Okay? O, kita nyo dito, mayroon po siya dito na code. Itong EN o English 4, ayan, LC, yan, 1C3. O, makikita natin dito. Ito po naman sa Tuesday, English 4, yung FA Fluency, Quarter 1, Week 3, Competency number 3. Okay. So, ito po yun. Saan nyo naman makukuha ito? Sabi, ma'am, kami po ba ang gagawa nitong objectives na ito? Hindi po. Saan po makikita? In the CG. Sa curriculum guide, nandun na po ito. You have to copy lang po ito. You just copy. And then, dun lang kayo sa procedure, magagawa po na inyong sariling approaches or strategies. Okay, wala po kayong dapat baguhin dito sa ating objectives. Okay, next part. Ito na yung content or the subject matter. Kalagay po dito kung ano yung ayan, yung mga content po ng ating lesson. Okay? And then, sa learning resources, mayroon po tayo dito na, ayan, teacher's guide, yung mga pages. So, katulad ng sinabi ko po kanina, learner's materials, ang pages. Monday, Tuesday, kanya-kanya po yan. Hindi siya gumamit ng textbook dito. Hindi po siya gumamit. Additional materials from LRMDS portal. Ito po yung public portal ng DepEd. So, ito po yung kinuhanan niya. Kaya nakalagay po dyan yung mga story. Yan. And other learning resources. Pwede pong PowerPoint presentations o yung mga slides presentation from internet, from YouTube. So, ilalagay po lahat yan dyan as references. That is for the learning resources. Okay? And then, ito na yung procedures. So, sabi natin, Not all the 10 parts should be filled out. O maaari pong wala, ano. So dito, yung Monday, yung A at B, hanggang Friday, mayroon. Pero when we, dun sa establishing a purpose of the new lesson, tingyo, wala siya sa Tuesday. Okay. Kasi hindi niya matatakal sa Tuesday, itong part na ito. But the rest of the days, mayroon. Okay, tingnan po natin yung iba pa. O ito, o letter C, yung presenting examples, mayroon lahat. Letter D, may filled out. Letter E, may filled out kasi mayroon part. Pagdating dun sa letter F, yung developing mastery, so wala siya dun sa Monday. Hindi siya nagbigay ng formative assessment to kasi maaaring hindi niya natapos yung lesson. O maaaring yun lang yung part talaga na dapat matapos for the day. So, nagbigay na lang siya doon sa Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay? And then, tingnan to. Itong sunod, itong letter G, H, I, J. Ayan, yung Friday, walang filled out yung letter G. Pagdating sa letter H, yung generalization, kasi nga, hanggang doon lang siya sa part na hindi siya nakapag-generalize, wala siya nung Monday. Kinunting niya kasi yung lesson ng Tuesday. Doon pa nagkaroon ng generalization. Then evaluating learning, hindi na nagkaroon ng evaluation nung Monday, nung second day na lang nagkaroon. Okay? Then additional activities, ayan. So tingnan nyo, yung 10 parts po ay hindi naman, it is not necessary for you to accomplish all the 10 parts for the day. Or the 10 parts of the procedure. Ano? So yun po. So this is the, okay. And then yung remarks, kasi hindi pa nalagyan ng remarks kasi nga ito ay lesson plan. So, kailan kayo maglalagay ng remarks and reflection? Right after the lesson. Agad po, fill upan nyo ito for the remarks and reflection para hindi po kayo makalimot. Kaya po ito sa sample DLL, wala pa tong remarks kasi ito po ay lesson plan. So, upon execution and after execution, you have to fill out these remarks and reflection parts of the lesson. O, yan. Sabi ko po sa inyo, no need to write na itatype nyo pa isa-isa kasi this is a template already. You just fill out this template. So, less na rin po yung trabaho ni teacher. Yung output na lang po ang dapat nang titingnan for this. Okay? Ito, marami pa pala to. May mga tanong po kasi dyan. Kompleto na rin yung mga strategies na ginamit. Kung gumamit kayo ng group collaboration, games, PowerPoint presentation, kompleto na po dito. And then, if you have used another strategy na wala naman po dito sa list, then you may add the strategy dun sa list. Lalagay nyo lang sa ilalim. Kung ay wala naman dito yung strategy kong ginamit kasi unique yung ginamit kong strategy. Para lang sa akin yun na kita kong effective sa bata ko. So, ilalagay mo doon sa hulihan. Okay, you just write it down. Okay. So, yun pong strategy na ginamit yun na wala sa list. Okay. Ito pa yan. May mga tanong, what difficulties, what innovation, or localized materials. Right? Okay. Tanong, bakit ba ayaw mong sumulat ng lesson plan? Pa yung mga teachers, sabi nyo, lesson plan na naman. Yeah. Burden sa akin ang pagsulat ng lesson plan. Ano nyo yan? So, hindi mo ba alam na kapag naisulat mo ang layunin mo sa pagtuturo, di ka magiging nuno sa punso? Ano ba yun? Ito yon. Planning lessons increases a teacher's chances of carrying out a lesson successfully. So, ibig sabihin, ano ba yung nuno sa punso? Medyo, rin ako dito, medyo matalinhaga po ito from Dr. Habihan. Okay? Kapag ka naisulat mo ang layunin mo sa pagtuturo, di ka magiging nuno sa punso. Okay. So, you can carry out the objectives of your lesson kapag po talagang ang iyong planning ay maganda. Okay. So, sa nakahandang pagbabanghay aralin, may magaganap na pagmumuni at inaasahang bunga mula sa mga bata. Okay. Lesson planning inculcates reflective practice as it allows teachers to think about their teaching. May reflection. Magre-reflect si teacher. Effective ba yung naging strategy ko? Or may dapat ba akong baguhin? Is there a need for revision? Is there a need for reteaching? I-reteach ko ba yung lesson ko kasi hindi pala naintindihan. Okay? Sa pagbabanghay, aralin, nagiging mabisa ang pagiging taga sa panahon bilang guro. Sabi dito, sumabasa, lesson planning, influencer of the content. So, taga sa panahon. Kapag magaling ka na sa pagle-lesson plan, ay masabi nga yung term na mani-mani na lang. Easy-easy na lang. Kabisado mo na ang lesson planning. It's just an easy task for you. Hindi na siya burden. Okay? So, ito yon. Sabi nga, the department would like to reiterate as well that the preparation of DLP and DLL should be part of the performance assessment of those who are teachers 1 to 3 and master teachers 1 to 4 positions through the RPMS. So may tinatawag po tayong RPMS, so siguro sooner or later, mapapag-aralan niyo itong RPMS when you are already in the field. So compliance with the DLP and DLL preparation shall be monitored following the RPMS cycle. Now, it is important to emphasize at this point that our secretary issued an official statement on the DLL policy following several criticisms received by the department on the said policy. Kasi nga po, nung ini-implement itong si DLL, way back 2016, umani ito ng maraming mga, hindi man exactly batikos, mga criticisms na ang hirap naman, ba't ganito ang gagawin, parang hindi okay to, mas gusto ko pa rin yung DLP. Parang ganun yung mga maging connotations at naging reactions ng ating mga teachers in the field. So that is why, sabi dito ni Deputy Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones, sabi nga niya, the DepEd understands that part of the concerns of teachers regarding the DLL is its new format. Kasi nabago yung format, sanay sila sa DLP. So in this regard, the DepEd wishes to assure teachers and the public that the new DLL format was created with the best interests of teachers in mind. So ibig sabihin, hindi naman ito pahirap. So yun yung gustong i-insist ni DepEd Secretary. Hindi ito pahirap. Kaya nga lang kasi bago, ayaw i-embrace. So sabi nga, let us embrace the challenges, yung mga changes. So yun lang yung dapat yun yung ating isa-isip. So the new DLL format is simply meant as a planning tool for teachers in terms of budgeting time and choosing the most appropriate activities and assessment strategies to ensure that learners meet the competencies targeted in each lesson. It is meant as a tool to help teachers deliver lessons more effectively each time they step in front of their class. So dito, ang gustong mangyari ni DepEd Secretary ay mag-focus more on instruction, hindi yun sa pag-prepare ng lesson plan. Kasi naubos yung oras mo preparing your own lesson plan kasi ikaw pa yung mag-iisip ng sarili mong plan. And yet here, in the DLL, i-fill out mo na lang and then hindi ka na maglalagay ng mga specific steps kasi nakalagay na lang C, CG, CTG, or ilalagay mo na lang yung directions. So yun po yung gusto niyang ipaliwanag dito na hindi masyadong naintindihan ng mga teachers in the field. And yet, nung nagamit na siya, ilang years na, maganda pala. Maganda pala yung DLL. Less nakakabawas sa burden ng teacher, less stress. Provided that you have the references. Dapat may CG, TG, and learners materials na gagamitin. Kapag DLL po ang inyong gagamitin. Okay? Ayan. So, tapos na tayo sa DLL and DLP. Ano naman ngayon yung lesson planning under the new normal? Kasi hindi naman po natin ginagamit siya ngayon. For 2 years na, under this new normal situation, hindi na natin muna ginagamit yung DLL and DLP. We resorted to WHLP. So, ito na po yon. So, slides presentation ay courtesy of Doc Lebs and Dr. Diosdado and San Antonio, Undersecretary Curriculum and Instruction. Okay, ito po yun. Kaunting ano lang glance-glance lang tayo kasi parang ako ay overtime na. Medyo napasarap po yung discussion ko about lesson planning. I just want to reiterate it with you kasi napakahalaga po talaga ng lesson planning. Andito pa po ba kayo? I heard pa po.
Yes po, loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you po. Okay, nakakaano po ba kayo? Nakakasunod ba?
Opo.
Nakaka-relate po
Yes
ba?
po.
Yes,
Yes
po.
po.
Po. Ang hirap kasi magsalita na wala nakikita and then wala ring naririnig. Okay, sige po, at least po medyo ano na ulit. Narinig ko na ulit kayo. Ayan. So, balik tayo, yung WHLP tayo, yung Weekly Home Learning Plan. Ito po yung ginagamit natin ngayon sa atin pong, even in public and private, using this modular lessons, in the modular distance learning. Even in the online or blended, ito rin po yung ginagamit natin. So the basis of these guidelines is still DepEd Order number 42. Yun pa rin po, hindi tayo lalayo doon. So this issuance recognizes the necessity of lesson planning as a critical part of the teaching learning process. So lesson plan should answer the following questions. Alam naman natin yan, what should be taught, how should it be taught, or yung procedures, yung processes, yung strategies, and how should learning be assessed. Ito na yung paano natin i-assess yung learning bata. So formative assessment, through formative assessment or application. Okay. How should the weekly learning plan be developed? Ano po ba ito? So unang-una, we have to refer to the most essential learning competencies. Ito po yung ginagamit natin ngayon. Di ba mayroon tayong curriculum guides? Sa curriculum guide or CG, andun lahat ng list of competencies na dapat mo-master ng bata for the whole year, for whole school year, in a specific subject. This time, dito, ito pong competencies are being decongested from 15,000 competencies, take note, 15,000 to only 5,000 competencies. Kumbaga, in-streamline siya. Okay? Kaya nga po, ano lang tayo dun sa most essential. Alin ba yung pinakamahalaga na competencies na dapat maituro at matutunan ng ating mga bata? Okay, yun muna ang mayroon tayo. We have to refer to the MELCs. Yung tinatawag nating MELCs. Okay, yung acronym po, Most Essential Learning Competencies. And then, we have to gather the self-learning modules or the SLMs together with other learning materials needed for the self-paced learning mode. Ito yon, dapat kailangan din natin ang SLMs in the preparation of WHLP. And then, use the SLMs gathered as reference. Consider the learning competencies, the key concepts, learning tasks, and formative assessment. So, yun pa rin ang ating i-consider sa paggagawa ng WHLP. And then, subject area teachers will collaborate to come up with a set of weekly home learning plan for one entire quarter grading period by integrating all subject in one learning plan. O take note, kasi during the face-to-face classes, before po, yung ating traditional classes, di ba tayo i-depart sa elementary, yung 4 to 6 ay departmentalized or departmental. Sa secondary naman talaga ay subject teacher, iba yung nagtuturo ng science, iba nagtuturo ng English, Filipino, at iba-iba rin yung preparation of course nila. Kung ano yung subject na tinuturo nila, yun lang yung prepare nila ng lesson plan, which is DLL or DLP. So, at this point, ngayon po, sa panahong ito, in the WHLP, all the subjects are incorporated or indicated in one WHLP. So, paano yun? Sinong gagawa nun? Advisor lang ba? Kasi dapat ipadala lahat ng topics doon sa subject na yun at doon sa lahat ng subjects for the day and for the week. So, kaya nga po magko-collaborate sa subject area teachers. Ibibigay niya para to come up with one WHLP buong isang linggo. So, yung kanyang lesson ay dapat po ay ibibigay niya doon sa pinaka-main teacher para po maisama para doon sa preparation ng isang complete WHLP o weekly, isang linggo. So yun po yun yung pagkakaiba dito. So mayroon teachers collaboration in the preparation of the plans para makabuo to come up with a set of weekly home learning plan. Isa lang syempre dapat. Baka naman may plan na ipinadala si teacher sa subject na ito, may plan din dito. Isa lang po yun. Okay. And then, teachers should be guided with a long-term vision of what they want their learners to master and achieve. So put the end in mind. Sabi nga, kaya nga po most essential o kung alin lang yung most need na competency at activities na dapat din na masagawa ng bata for that particular lesson. Baka naman tinambakan na natin ang pagkarami-raming activities and yet hindi sila makatapos. That is why may mga late submission kasi sobrang dami. So, put the end in mind. Ano ba yung target mo na matapos? Ano ba yung competency, skill, and concepts na dapat ma-develop, ma-master ng bata? Doon lang po tayo mag-stick. Okay? Teachers should adopt strategies that respect the unique context and diversity of learners in terms of their readiness, learning interest, and learning profile. Since sa bahay nila ito gagawin. So may kanya-kanyang context, home context ng ating mga bata. So we should adopt the strategies kung alin yung one size fits all, alin yung pwede sa lahat. Kahit iba-ibang konteksto sa kanilang mga tahanan, anong strategy yung pwedeng mai-apply sa lahat ng learners natin. Okay. Use differentiated instruction also. Pwede rin pala na may strategy na hindi applicable for these learners, for this set of learners, then use another strategy for some learners. So, mayroon po yan. Kaya nga yung diverse learners natin, i-consider po natin yon. Kaya yung differentiated instruction din, mahalaga. So, masasabi natin na may grouping din pala. Kahit hindi natin nakikita yung mga bata based on the outputs, based on the performance task, makikita natin yung performance ng mga bata. Pwede tayo ding makapag-group ng ating mga bata even without in the classroom setting. So, itong mga batang to, mga fast-paced, itong mga to, bigyan to ng additional task. Itong mga batang to cannot cope up easily with the lesson, bawasan ng konti. Mag-modify tayo. O mag-adjust tayo. So, yun po. And then teachers should strike a balance between academic rigor and social-emotional aspect of learning. Provide flexibility for learners to manage their own learning. Ayan, pasok yun talaga yung pagiging flexible ni teacher para po ma-address yung learning needs ng ating mga bata. Okay? Now, what are the parts of the weekly home learning plan? Lapit na po tayong matapos. Okay, ito po yun. Learning area, of course, yung subjects prescribed to be taken by learners in a particular grade level or key stage or learning task. Okay? Ito yung formative learning opportunities created for learners to enhance their understanding of the content, which prompt them to engage, intensify the subject matter. Learning task. And then, we have the learning competencies, so hindi mawawala yun. Yung knowledge, understanding, skills, attitude that learners need to demonstrate in every lesson or learning activity, and the mode of delivery. Ano yung method of submission of learning outputs to include the written work, performance tasks, or additional tasks, at iba pa po. Okay, mode of delivery. Ito yung naiba. May mode of delivery doon sa WHLP. Okay, guidelines. The home learning plan should be communicated to the parents. Kasi nga po, ipinapadala itong si WHLP sa bahay, sa ating po mga learners. Unlike before na yung DLL and DLP ay for teachers' consumption alone. Pero itong WHLP, nakikita po ito ni parents. So it is the means of communication. It could be in a form of hard copies. Padala natin yung hard copies during school orientation. Comprehensive and clear orientation by the school as to the content, purpose, and use. Hindi lang po natin basta ito pinadala. O bahala na kayo dyan. O mga magulang, intindihin nyo na lang yan. No. May orientation po tayo on how our parents will look into the use of this WHLP. O, may orientation po tayo dyan. Kaya ito po ipinapadala. Kung hindi po kayang ipadala, kung lahat ng mga bata nating may gadgets, you can send it through GCs, online, email, so yun po. Yun. And then, It is an aid to teachers, parents, and learners, yung WHLP, tracking in the context of implementing the most suitable and feasible learning modality. Ito po ay for those who are implementing the modular distance learning modality in the distance learning. Okay? Learners are also reminded that they are responsible for their learning or of their learning. So, the weekly home learning plan for distance learning, DLP or DLL for F2F learning. O, tandaan natin yan. WHLP for MDLDM or modular distance learning. And for F2F or face-to-face learning ay DLP and DLM. Okay na po tayo dyan. Ang weekly home learning plan shall be adjusted to suit the level of the child. Ayan yung sinasabi natin. Kung magbabawas, magmodify, magdadagdag. Tasks given to the child shall be adjusted until they are prepared to handle norm learning tasks. In addition, to the individual learning monitoring plan shall be used to monitor students. So, iyon. Okay? Ayan. Ito na po yung sample. Sample WHLP. So, ito po ay in edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, ESP. O, sabi doon, yung nakalagay doon, week 1, quarter 1, anong ang date. May araw at oras. O, ito po ay pang Martes. Ito po ay nakalagay lahat sa isang kumpletong lesson WHLP. Ay present ko lang po siya by subject. Pero dapat po to ay sama-sama sa isang WHLP. Depende sa araw kung kailan yun at dun sa kanilang class program. Okay? Ito pong WHLP should be anchored and in coordination at dapat jibe doon po sa class program na hawak din ng ating mga bata at ng ating mga magulang. Yun din po kasi ang susundan nila. So you have there the araw at oras or in English, the date and time. And then the second column is the kasi meron na tayong learning area which is grade for edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. The second column is the learning competency or kasanayang pampagkatuto. O, nakalagay dyan yung learning competency. Ayan, nakapagsasabi ng ano at yung code. O, ESP4. Pang grade 4 pa rin po yan. Tapos yung competency na dinidevelop. Anong week, anong quarter. Yan, quarter, week, anong competency and bilang. Okay? Yan po yung code. And then we have the learning tasks or gawain pampagkatuto. O, nakalagay dito, hindi nyo po isusulat din lahat. Hindi katulad sa DLP. Para din ito pinaikli din ng DLL. Sundin ang mga sumusunod na bahagi sa pagsasagot ng module. Ito po nakalagay dito sa task na to kung paano magsasagot ang bata with the assistance of the parents or home tutors noong module na ipinadala. So, ibig sabihin, the WHLP is in accordance or ang reference po nito ay ang module na ipapadala po natin sa ating mga bata. O, simple lang, module 1, katotohanan, sasabihin ko. O, sa gawaan subukin sa pahina 1 to 3 para po ito pinaka-guide kung paano gagawin ng magulang ng mga bata sa tulong ng parents yung gawain sa module. And then, yung last column, yun yung mode of delivery o paraan ng pagkuha o paghahatid ng ng module at ng mga task na ginawa ng mga bata. O ito yung reminders. Paalaala, ang mga natapos na gawain sa module na ito ay maaaring isumite sa guro, sa paaralan. Ayan. Subalit kung walang panahon o pagkakataon, maaari itong ibigay sa parent coordinator upang siya magsumite sa guro sa paaralan. Ito po yung pamamaraan ng distribution and retrieval of modules, outputs, performance tasks, or written test ng ating mga bata. So ito po yung nilalaman ng WHLP. Pa rin po yung sample niya. Okay, ito naman po ay sa health. Okay, so 4 columns lang po siya. Okay, so that is all, my dear teachers and colleagues. So it said that motivation is what gets you started. So commitment is what keeps you going. So thank you very much, and I hope I was able to give you a grasp of the process of lesson planning, DLL, DLP, WHLP in the public schools and even in the private schools. Thank you very much. And God bless.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much also, Dr. Balinton, our Public Schools District Supervisor of the Calapan City Division. So at this juncture, we would like to award also a certificate of appreciation. Maraming salamat po for sharing your expertise. And let me share my screen.
Sir Ike, nakamute ka.
I'm very sorry for that. So once again, we would like to... Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, Sir Ike.
Okay. So let me continue. So once again, gusto namin pong pasalamatan ang ating dear speaker for today, and we would like to award Certificate of Appreciation. Naka-share screen na ba ako?
Yes, Sir Ike.
Oh my God. To Dr. Eva Balinton, and it reads Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Dr. Eva B. Balinton in grateful recognition of her invaluable insights and expertise as a resource speaker during the webinar on K-12 Basic Education Program for pre-service teacher, given this 4th day of March 2022 on Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro. Signed, Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, Dean of the College of Teacher Education, and Dr. Nemesio H. Dabalos, our Vice President for Academic Affairs. Once again, maraming salamat po, Dr. Eva Balinton, for orienting us with the lesson planning on K-12 Basic Education Program. It would really help our pre-service teachers as well as our faculty members in giving the best education. Maraming salamat po from the bottom of our heart. Narinig ba ako?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome po.
Maraming salamat po. So while we are waiting we still have one speaker left, and ayan, habang hinihintay natin ang ating next speaker, we would like also to award Certificate of Appreciation to Sir Christian Alberto for the assistance in giving us our speakers from the DepEd Calapan City Division. So, sir, the certificate reads Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Sir Christian M. Alberto in grateful recognition for his valuable assistance to the College of Teacher Education of the Mindoro State University, for which we are much in depth and appreciative. Given this 4th day of March 2022 at the Mindoro State University, Alcate Victoria Oriental Mindoro, signed Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, Dean of the College of Teacher Education, and Dr. Nemesio H. Dabalos. Sir, tanggapin niyo po ang aming sertipiko bilang paraan ng pagpapasalamat sa inyong tulong. Maraming salamat, Sir Christian.
Thank you din po.
Yan, thank you very much. So we still have one speaker left. So, hintayin lang natin. Ayusin ko lang ang aking screen. At parang ako ang nawala. Yan, live kasi tayo. And yan, habang hinihintay natin, if para gusto ko lang malaman kung nandito pa ba ang lahat, nakikinig pa ba ang lahat, baka naman naka-login lang tayo. Same with our YouTube viewers. Ayan, paki-chat, paki-chat muna tayo na sa ating chat box ng #GoMinSu. Same with sa ating mga online viewers sa ating YouTube live. Yan, type muna tayo ng #GoMinSu. Maraming salamat po, Doc Iba Balinton. Yan. O, #GoMinSu with Ma'am April. Yan, maraming salamat for still joining us. Huwag kayong aalis. So yan, we are very much oriented already with lesson planning. So sabi kanina, the quotation that I have remembered is failing to plan is planning to fail. Ayan. So kailangan magplano para naman alam natin kung saan tayo papupunta. Parang relasyon lang yan. Kung hindi mo kayang magplano kung paano magparamdam, walang mangyayari sa inyo. Okay? At saka ang pagle-lesson plan, parang relasyon lang din yan. Kapag may luma, meron ding bago. Ayan. Saka sa may mga crush ko dyan, magparamdam na kayo para magkaroon tayo ng output. Ano? Para naman may mangyari sa atin. Okay. So, we still have one speaker left. And without any further ado, and #GoMinSu. Ayaw mag-change ng screen ko. Okay. So for our next lecture, so that would be a lecture on the K-12 classroom assessment. And this will be given to us by an education program supervisor of the Calapan City Division. Let's all welcome and let's hear it from Dr. Elsa M. Lim.
Hello, hello sir. Hello sir.
Hello po.
Okay. Sir, si Dr. Elsa ay prepare po at 1 o'clock. Naka-multitasking din po kami ngayon. Oo. Yun ang namin. So as schedule po dun sa letter, naka-ano po kami dun sa schedule. Thank you po.
So while we are waiting for Dr. Lim, who is on another conference, I guess, so maybe we could have our next speaker, Dean.
Maybe we can encourage our students, our pre-service teachers for questions, clarifications, points to ponder, points of reference, or points to clarify. Because this afternoon, we have the demo teaching at 1 o'clock. But since Sir Christian made mention that the talk of Ma'am Elsa Lim will be this afternoon, so we can make some adjustments. So the time now is 35 minutes past the hour of 11 o'clock in the morning today. So maybe we can have some encouragement to our students to participate in our question and answer or open forum.
Yes. So maybe that's a good thing to do while we are on a queue for our next speaker. So we still have time bago tayo mag-lunch. So if you do have questions, yung mga nasa Zoom conference natin, you can just type your questions in our chat box. At yung mga nanonood naman nating online viewers via YouTube Live, so you could also comment or post your questions sa ating live chat. Okay, and then we will be reading that. Mag-multitasking din tayo. Kailangan ko manood ng live stream. If you do have questions, baka may mga questions, okay? Or maybe you can raise a hand, okay? Para mabigyan namin kayo ng time to ask questions, especially those who are in the Zoom conference, dito sa ating Zoom conference. So pwede kayong mag-ask ng permission so we could have you live also. So baka may mga questions, may mga gusto kayong itanong. So pwede tayong magtanong. Paki-comment lang or paki-type lang ang inyong mga questions sa ating chat box. Same as true with doon sa ating mga viewers from YouTube. Maglalagin muna tayo sa YouTube. So baka may mga questions kayo na pwede nating itanong sa ating speakers if our speaker is still here, or maybe our faculty members could also answer kung ang questions are addressed to them or they could help in making things clear. So kung may mga tanong po tayo, yan, #GoMinSU, #GoMinSU live stream.
Are there?
Check ko lang.
Yes,
Wala pa pong nagtatanong. I guess malinaw naman yung pagkaka-explain ng ating speakers of what we are going to do with the lesson plan, yung different types of lesson plan, at saka yung mga what to include in our plans. So baka may mga additional questions lang kayo. So post your comments, your questions sa ating live stream or dito sa ating Zoom conference.
Sir I,
Yes po.
the series of talks this afternoon will be at exactly 1 o'clock. It will be started by Dr. Lim at 1, and then after will be a demo teaching by Ms. Olero, to be assisted by Sir Marino Cueto. And then the last speaker will be Dr. Dindo Generato of DepEd Oriental Mindoro. Despite the fact that we have 2 discussers on assessments, but that will be good. That will be good. Much better that there are 2 speakers discussing same topic with maybe with the same or with separate directions. That would be a good atmosphere for our discussion this afternoon. I'd like to announce also that you should be here at 1 o'clock, my dearest pre-service teachers. This is for you. This is for you, not for the faculty, but this is for you, pre-service teachers. So try to connect in the YouTube or in our Zoom link this afternoon. And then also after Dr. Dindo, I will give a wrap-up, the summary of all the talks that we heard this morning and also this afternoon. And after, we are going to hear the closing remarks of our very dearest Doc April Bagon Paildan. And then I will take this opportunity to announce also that on Tuesday, March 8th, we have the LAC session, LAC session. This will be under the tutelage of our good, very excellent speakers, Professor Magalay and Professor Dennis Brignosa. It will be on Tuesday, to be attended by the 3 campuses of our faculty members of the city. And then on Friday, there will be a recognition ceremony for our LET passers. It will be on the 11th, Friday. This is necessary to recognize our graduates who became professional teachers already, those who passed the LET, the licensure examination for teachers. So that is why if you have the name in abroad where, for example, I put Dr. Romeo C. Castillo, PLT, Professional Licensed Teacher, or LPT, Licensed Professional Teacher. something like this. So this is very important. Same with the lawyers, same with the doctors. They are putting also this kind of thing that they pass the board. So it will be on Friday. Thank you so much, Sir Magalay.
Okay, thank you very much, Dean, for the update. So take note of those updates and changes in our schedule. So this afternoon and for the next days to come. Yan. So keep in touch. So wala bang magtatanong? Permission to... Yes, go ahead, Doc Eva. Thank you very much po. Maraming salamat. Our pleasure to have you in this webinar. Maraming salamat po. Hanggang po sa muli. God bless po. And guys, wala ba tayong gustong itanong? Or wala kayong gustong linawin? So malinaw na ba lahat kung ano ang dapat nating gawin pagdating natin sa field? So since tayo ay magpa-practice teaching na, I would be deployed in the different schools para sa inyong practice teaching. Maraming salamat po. Ayan. Baka may mga gusto kayong itanong or linawin. So we still have time para sa ating open forum. Ayan. So baka may mga gustong magtanong. Hi, Sir Antoy Fard. Hi, Doc Joey Gutierrez of Calapan City Division. Ayan. Hello po. Namiss yata ako ng aking advisor. I'll be seeing you soon, Doc Gutierrez. Very soon. Ayan, baka may mga gusto pa kayong itanong, guys. Pa-live na lang tayo, pa-live. Anything doon, pwedeng ang tanong natin would be coming from the topic ng ating first speaker or pwede dito sa ating lesson planning.
Professor Magalay.
Yes, go ahead Dean.
Nahihiya na lang ako kay kay Dr. Valenton, pero I would like to ask questions on the relationship of the 7 E's to the lesson plan that the elementary teachers are using. Because now in the secondary level, if I'm not mistaken, they are using the 7 E's. So if Madam Valenton is here still.
I guess din nag-leave na po si Doc
Madam
Eva. Yeah, she already asked permission to leave.
Yes po. Because there are 7 E's po Yung po ang bago sa lesson planning. Yung pong elicit, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, extend, and evaluate, and engage, and evaluate. So these are the 7 E's that they are applying for the lesson planning. Aside from the fact that we have a different lesson planning, which is called the WHLP, the Weekly Home Learning Plan, and the WHLP in the normal, under the new normal. And I really would like to ask the students, Sana, if they do understand this WHLP, the lesson planning under the Weekly Home Learning Plan. And definitely, I don't know if they're accustomed to this, but anyway, our professors of the 3 campuses absolutely is discussing this WHLP, and in order that our students may be guided accordingly. But when I saw some demonstration teaching, I'm so sorry to tell, but I did not find the WHLP when it comes to the different parts of the lesson planning. Because there is a great change or changes when it comes to the lesson planning in the elementary and high school. They are applying the 7 E's, 7 E's. So I do hope our students are accustomed or aware about the 7 E's in lesson planning, especially the lesson planning in the new normal. But anyway, since the students are not asking, I do hope you understand this. I do hope you can apply, because if you go to the different schools in Oriental Mindoro, this will be the things that you have to find. And I do not know, how about if we are asked by our cooperating teachers and cooperating principals about these 7 E's, or about the new lesson plan in the new about this new lesson plan under the new normal, I do hope that you can answer, because Dr. Eva gave us a very comprehensive discussion on the WHLP and lesson planning. So this is very important. Sana nga po, sana po hindi ako nagkakamali.
Yes, you're right with that, Dean. So we have to take note of those changes, guys, with the setup in delivering instructions. And this is the good thing of having our webinar live or posted via YouTube. So you could go over, you could have a replay of this. So if you can recall them by now, so mamaya pwede nyo silang balikan. And you have to take note of that. Baka nga naman mamaya matanong tayo ng ating mga cooperating teachers and we are not aware of it. So, ayan. So, those are the things that we have to bear in mind and to update ourselves of. So, yun, nagbabago ang time. So, nagbabago din ang mga setup in the teaching and learning. So, we have to, yun, update ourselves of these things. Okay, so kung wala tayong tanong, so maybe mamaya we could have a surprise recap from our students. So we would see how far have you gone with your listening over our webinars. Baka yung iba ay nagla-login lang. We know. We know some of our students are doing that. Okay, and that's normal in the new normal. Yung nagla-login tapos hindi naman nakikinig. Anyway, this is a good thing about having everything online. So pag na-record sa, you could just go over a recorded video and then balikan. Okay, maybe you are on an equally important task at home. So pwede nating balikan. But for sure, mamaya magkakaroon tayo ng surprise recap. I'll be calling some students, especially those who are in the Zoom conference and from our Facebook Live. We will be inviting them to join our Zoom conference para sa ating short recap. So make sure, guys, that you are taking down notes and you are listening actively and attentively. So do not leave. So ipagpaliban muna yung mga hindi naman masyadong importanteng bagay na gagawin for today. If you are just going to see a friend, so our webinar is more important than seeing a friend, just seeing a friend. Maliban na lang kung yung friend mo nagpapaaral sa'yo. Napahugot tuloy ako. Ayan. Pero kung hindi naman, so stay with us, learn with us, and let us grow together as Mindoro State University. Para naman sabihin, pag nasa field na tayo, hindi tayo guys syempre, we cannot avoid yon negative impressions. And yan, so para maiwasan natin yon, so yan, update tayo ng ating mga sarili. So we still have time. So if you have guys questions, so kapag may mga tanong kayo even during live, yung nagda-discuss yung ating speakers, you can jot down or you can write down your questions and then i-type later kapag tapos na siguro yung ating speaker para maparating natin sa speakers and then we could clarify things para naman worth it yung ating pakikinig sa ating webinar. Okay, kasi pag nagta-type siguro tayo during the live discussion, baka ma-distract at mag-pop up yung messages natin sa chat box, ma-distract naman yung ating speaker. So reserve your questions at the end of each talk. Ayan. Sa ating mga faculty members, thank you very much for staying with us. Maraming salamat. I know you have lots of reports to prepare, documents to prepare. Yan, multitask muna tayo habang nakikinig. Ayan. So our time check muna tayo, 11:50. So in our program, we're supposed to end our second talk at 12:15 if I'm not mistaken.
But sir,
so
excuse me, sir. So we can give them the rest now. So we are going to undergo the lunch break.
So they will be back po at 1.
1 po, exact 1 we will start. Okay,
so since early dismissal tayo ngayon, so babalik tayo ng exactly 1 p.m. So yung mga gusto ulit mag-join sa ating Zoom conference, so make sure that you will be back at 1 p.m. Sa ating live, so same as true din Ma'am April, no? we would resume our live streaming on YouTube at 1 p.m. also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you
much
very
po.
much.
Ayan,
Thank you very much.
maraming salamat. Enjoy your lunch, guys.